Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This just in. Thank God the White House had found out who the blow belongs to. Their official report is no one. That's the official report. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for coming and hanging out. We're about to get it in. I see what my guest was doing back there. I saw that. I saw that. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So first, I want to say congratulations to Dang Old Matt, Kurt24, and 717 Rider. I gotta congratulate all you guys. Now, officially, Dang Old Matt was first, but I swear to God, you guys all pressed the button at, like, the same exact time. It was like, "Broop, broop, broop," like, it sounded like I was playing, the original Super Mario Brothers. "Broop, broop, broop." Yeah, it was crazy. Like when he eats the mushroom, "Broop, broop, broop." Anyway, so Dangle Matt, congratulations, brother, for being first in chat. You you, sir, are awesome. And or do at least one high five. So let's say what's up to all the channel members. We got Kurt24, channel member. We got 717, Rida, another channel member. We got A, come out in PLA, sup feds, come out in PLA, another channel member. BV Luminous, my man, probably the angriest man in chat, and I love him for it. Great to see you, BV Luminous, because every time he comes in, he's got to yell, "Ree!" Right? Like that's his thing. That's his thing. Come on, PLA, BV Luminous, Flying Rich, another channel member. Man, we stacked our channel members back up. Like this is crazy. Burp. Scoozy. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so Flying Rich, come on, PLA, BV Luminous. Who else we got? Man Against the Masses, our resident meme artist. And if you have not seen him in action, holy moly, you need to go to his Instagram. It's pretty crazy. I even saw Sherlock Hunter Biden smoking a pipe of sorts. It's good. You got to check it out. Let's see. Come on, PLA, Kurt24, BV Luminous, yo, Chenamemba, Fluffy Bunny Arsenal. What's up, brother? Good to see you. Another Chenamemba. Let's see. Come on, PLA. Fluffy Money Night Custom Builds. What's up, brother? Good to see you. And I gotta connect with you anyway. I know we spoke about this before, but I heard you got a connection at a company that I was interested in connecting with, so we could talk offline. Let's see. Nights. Come on, PLA. Fluffy Bunny. Fluffy Bunny. I just love saying your name, Fluffy Bunny Arsenal. That's it just puts a very interesting picture in my mind. Goombeam, what's up, brother? Another channel member. And I appreciate Fluffy Bunny Arsenal for recently using the link in the description to purchase Goombeam flashlights. And if you guys ever choose to do that, if you check in the link in every description of every show that I do, you got affiliate links for things, I guess, that we're allowed to have on YouTube, which is JM4 tactical holsters. We got Goombeam flashlights. We got all sorts of stuff. So just check it out. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's see. Night, Goombeam, Flying Rich, Johnny Ba. Johnny Ba. What's up, brother? Another channel member. Good to see you. Rusty Crusty Trombone, Shackleford. What's up, brother? Another channel member. Uh Man Against the Masses, Rusty Crusty Trombone. Knights, Fluffy, Goombeam, Courage. Sorry, I'm just making sure I can't miss anybody, man. We cannot miss one Chinamemba. Jeff Cron, what's up, player? Another Chinamemba. Great to see you guys. To just start the show and have 40 people in here chilling is just such a beautiful thing. And honestly, I actually started looking at my numbers, and you guys are like spending the entire night here, like over 2 hours. With 400 views, I had almost 16,000 watch minutes. Like, bro, that's nuts. And of course, I'm just a little channel, and I'm gonna constantly be shadow banned and throttled, and they're not gonna put my stuff in your news feed, okay? And if they do, they only put it in yours. They don't put it in the, the general public's. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. What's up, fam? Good to see you. Let's see who else we got. I'm sorry. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3 is also another channel member. And we got T for Tejas. What's up, brother? Another channel member. This is beautiful. Too many choices. Talking about 9mm for the win. Again, I get it. You love it. I know. We don't need to talk about it every time, okay? We know that 9mm is superior to 40 Smith & Wesson. And my man Montana, another channel member. Mike McClune, what's up, brother? Another channel member. Shauna member. See what I did there? I know, it's creative. Taco Syndicate, my man. I hope you're thinking about that business idea I told you about, the Taco Send a Kit, where you send a kit where people build tacos at home. I know, it's a lot. Just think about it. All right. Tivertay Haas, Shana Memba, the earrings, Montana, Tivertay Haas, BV, Kurt, Johnny Ba. Everyone's name is green. This is actually really hard. Tech Money, what's up, brother? Salute, another China member. Montana, my chat just refreshed. Hold on. Jason Ewing, what's up, brother? Another China member. And ADXR20, another China member. This is beautiful, guys. This is great. Tech, Kurt, Mike, ADXR, Tactical Turkey. Dang, Tactical Turkey's still up in here? That's what's up, man. Good to see y'all. C&T Designs and Arms. What's up, player? Another channel member. Joe Morris, another channel member. Man, I wish there was like just credits that I could roll, because this is actually starting to get a little challenging. I'm not going to lie. But I'm never going to stop doing it. I can't stop. Can't stop, won't stop. All right, who else? Jason, Kurt, Johnny Ba, Jason. Hey, Gabber, what's up, brother? Another channel member. Good to see you. Good to see you. And we'll be starting here in just a second. Here, be introducing the guest, and we will be getting it cracking, I believe is what the kids say. The kids don't say that. That's just us old heads. Oh, hold up. Did somebody donate channel memberships? Boom Thumb McBingingham, what's up, brother? Another channel member. 9mm for the win. What's the discount code for JM4? I think it's, if you use my link, I think you can use code DARK. You may be able to use code DARK either way. I'm not sure. If that doesn't work, use code Crump, but one of those, Crump or Crumpy. So Dark, Crump, or Crumpy. I'll have to check with them and confirm, but try one of those three. I think it says in the description too. I'm going off of memory, which y'all know how that is. Getting old, player. Getting old. MGB is probably like, come on, hurry up. I know, he is. He's excited. All right. And of course, we got Ting Ting up in here. We got Big Fish of the Boat. We got Damian Christ. We got Nate D. What's up, fam? Good to see you. Oh, hold up. Bloobadoop. When dang, Mike McClune gifted 5 channel memberships, bro. Thank you, man. Jeez Louise. Mike is the man. We also got Slide Bite. We got Sport Brand. What's up, brother? Sport Brand, our favorite mod. You know it. And all you guys in here, man. It's great to see all you guys. Love all y'all. Rip Dango. What's up, brother? Good to see you. I saw Toy Town up in here earlier. Don't know where he went, but good to see all y'all. M. Gabriel. What up? Constitutional Carpenter is now a channel member. Man, hell yeah. This is beautiful. Okay, so you guys know that there is a man who happens to be a builder. Now, this builder is a gun builder. Now, this gun builder is also a Marine. So naturally, his name is the Marine Gun Builder. And he strives for first-time quality. Not this second-time quality bullshit that you hear about in other channels, okay? I'm talking about first-time quality, but only for the freedom protect us. Ladies and gentlemen, the man who knows the truth behind the powder in the White House, your boy, Marine.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. You said, "What's cracking, baby?"
What's cracking?
We know what's cracking.
Oh, I said, what's crackling in the pipe,
Hey, how about that crack investigative team, huh?
That's right,
Whoa.
man. Doing it.
Whew.
I'll tell you what, man. If I just like took my family for a tour on the White House and I dropped a bag of anything, it doesn't matter. It could have been tea leaves, okay?
Yeah.
It could have been. Come on, PLA said P80 Jesus. Yes. Yes.
Ah.
If I dropped a small baggie of black pepper, they
Oh,
would
yeah.
have been able to
Oh,
find
yeah.
out who it belonged to, who did it, where it dropped it, what time, and whose fingerprints were on it. And even if I had a little, boogers on the outside of the back, they don't play. They know whose it is.
A whole new meaning to the term White House. Is it
Mhm.
not? Right? Whole new
Facts.
term, bro.
Yes, yes.
Oh,
Hey, DLD connects MGB in the house. Hell yeah, bourbon operator. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Well, I can't imagine that there may be people here that don't know who you are, but let's just do the usual thing that we do. Let everyone know who you are, what you do, and where they can find you.
well, in this censored world, you're probably not going to find me in many places. But the number one place you
Mhm.
will find me is
Freedom Crew
university,
University.
baby. Uh, yeah, chief instructor at the university. As a
Head
matter of fact,
instructor.
yeah, instructor. You have your own badge, chief instructor.
I do. I am the head instructor.
Yeah, the
Actually,
head.
that sounds disgusting. Now that I just said that out loud for the
Yeah,
first
right.
time, I
The
was like,
head
"Shit,
instructor.
damn." I could also instruct the
Yeah,
ladies on well, no, there's no way I'm getting
yeah.
out of that shit. Yeah, that ain't working.
Hey, speaking of Freedom True University, we can't come on here. Who was it? Dang old Matt, right? He was number one.
Yep, yep.
You just give him a high five for being number one. Bro was first in here, first to
Mhm.
comment, number one.
Yep.
Dang old Matt, you hit up support at Freedom Crew University. We'll give you a free download to anything you want in the download section. All right, my
Alright.
man. So hit up support over there, bro. Congratulations for being number one because the notification squad is so important,
Yo,
right?
that's what's up.
You guys got to understand how important it is to be here and propping guys like DLD up. And I'm not sure if any of you know, but he recently did a stream on the university last week that was tremendous, tremendous. And
Appreciate that.
I know you have so many loyal followers here that are here several times a week, as you were talking about. You had 16,000 minutes of watch time, right?
Yeah.
Right. You guys haven't seen this guy unfiltered. Because imagine he's here, he's got to be careful of what he says because they'll throw him off again. He's just come out of multiple strikes, okay?
Yeah.
But we had him on live on your own channel on the university,
Yeah.
right? And it was, I mean, fire, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
I'm
people are saying that some of your followers are saying this is the best stream you've ever done. This was
yeah.
incredible, and it was because again, when you take away all of that and you're actually able to communicate the way you want to communicate, it's a whole
Mhm.
new experience for people. So I encourage you to come to his next show, The Dark Files. We're going to be scheduling it soon, I'm
Yeah.
sure, but tremendous to see this man unfiltered.
Dude, I appreciate that, man. A lot of times, because I talk with a lot of viewers, like, they'll hit me up on Instagram and whatever, and we'll talk. And it's kind of funny. They're like, you speak well, but I can tell at times you'll start talking, and you'll stop, you'll
Yeah,
take a breath and reword what you were gonna
right,
say, or I'll be like, let me
right.
say it differently, right? And what that's really doing is me. It honestly, it took me a good like 15-20 minutes to realize that I could say whatever I wanted.
I think it
But
wasn't until you actually showed the gun that you were like, wait a minute, yeah, I can do this, right? Yeah, oh,
yeah,
yeah, I
I'm
can
like
do this.
looking around like seeing if I'm gonna get the
Somebody's
stream to
watching
shut down.
you. Right?
Yeah, right. Like, is YouTube still watching? Dude, it
Oh,
was it
man.
was dope, man. It was just so for all you guys that don't know, Freedom Crew University is, I mean, it's a school like it to learn how to build guns, right? And everything, right? It's not just a P80 school. P80s, ARs, shotguns, 1022s, 3D printing, I'm everything. There's no limit.
Yeah.
1911s, Jesus, everything you could think of, right?
3D printing.
Yep, 3D printing. Yep. And we also, because looking at the landscape and the censorship and the deplatforming and the cancel culture, everything that we're living in right now, we were like, look, we gotta use this as our own platform to be able to have another place to go once we're all gone. And I don't know how far away we are from that, right? But man, it was so relieving to do that stream. And you even hit me up and you were like, dude, I think that was one of the best live streams you've done ever.
By far, by
That
far,
that meant a lot to me. It meant a
by
lot to me.
far. It was, look, yeah, the thing that I guess a lot of people don't realize on the other side of the camera is that we're fans of people too, right? Like I'm a DLD fan. I enjoyed watching you on that stream. I mean, obviously, I've watched you here many times. You know, you just actually did the thing with Spectre Solutions the other night.
Yeah.
I caught that on the replay.
Nice.
And
Nice.
always engaging, but it's completely different again when you don't have to watch what you say.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, and how many times are you on here and you say something and you're like, and in the back of your mind, you're like, that's a fucking strike.
Yeah.
Like, I know I'm going to end this stream. Like, you know, and you know it in the back of your mind. So now the rest of the show, you're trying to be cautious not to draw too much more attention to it. This sucks, man.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It sucks.
It's crazy. And to know, like, all right, I don't want to pull a video, right? I don't want to remove something because it's something that was said or something that could be misunderstood or misinterpreted or whatever, right? So, like,
Yeah.
knowing that in the back of my head there could be strikes just chilling.
Right.
It
Look at
is
me.
a little
I post
unnerving.
once every 120 days.
Dude, you ain't lying. I still have one active
Oh, do you still
seer,
have one?
right? Yeah, until
Yeah.
August 18th.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
I'm my next video can publish August 13th, I think it is. So a
okay.
month. What is it today? Today's the 13th, right? A month from today. A
Yeah.
month from today.
Dang, that's crazy,
Yeah.
man. You got hit with two almost back to back, right?
Yeah, and the Freedom Crew University site got hit too. So channel. So I really got three in between the two channels within a 2-day period. 40
Wow.
hours. Yeah.
So
Again,
okay.
for doing nothing. For doing nothing.
Yeah, you
You know,
just
I obviously don't build on YouTube anymore because you can't, right?
yeah.
So it's not like I'm doing anything, but it doesn't matter. I say the words, or
Yeah.
I even encourage you to build and do that on a published video. You know, they're targeted. I had a 21-second video, I think you saw, right? It was 21 seconds. It said nothing other than this is first time. This is what your frame should look like when you're done.
Mm,
Okay, all it was really saying, right? I didn't even say the words of what the frame was. I didn't say anything about building. I just like, you know,
yeah.
this is when you put in a lot of hard work. This is what you're striving to get to, you know. And it
Yeah.
was 21 seconds and didn't show any building. Just the frame was there, completed, and that got pulled too. You
See,
know.
that's the craziest thing. I thought about it, right? And my first strike, which was like at the end of December, beginning of January time frame, as some people hit me up and they were like, dude, I heard you built a Glock 33. And that's the, for you guys that don't know, it's a Glock 26 size, but it's in 357 SIG. It's a little noisy cricket, man. That thing's a pocket rocket. And they were like, we want to see it. So I did a 13-second YouTube short. And it was just like, what's up, guys? It's your boy Dark. Man, I don't even know if I should say the script because that script may
Yeah,
activate the AI, right? But
yeah,
it was just like, this is the gun, this is the model, this is what it is. But and that was it, right? 13-second
yeah.
video. They hit me and I thought about it. You know what I think triggered it? I think that they have somehow programmed their AI to be able to determine what P80 frames look like. So to them, it wasn't just a Glock. It wasn't just a gun. Whatever. It was a close-up view on my tabletop, and I think that was what flagged it. So I
Or
don't
that
know.
you have subscribers that are part of the anti-gun lobby, and as soon as they see it, they use their connections to get it taken down right away
It could be.
once it shows up on their feed.
I've been
Because
really
sometimes it has to get
suspect.
big enough to show up on their feed because they don't watch this stuff all the time. So a
Uh,
video that starts to gain traction or popularity will show up in their feed because they're an old-time subscriber. They're not someone
mhm.
who watches you religiously. And as soon as it shows up, they tell their friends, and it gets pulled.
I've been really suspect about this guy, Corn Pop. He's been.
There he is. There he is.
He was a bad dude.
He knows where the coke is. He
He
knows what it's all about.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Whose was it? Corn Pops. And
Yeah.
don't get I feel like saying it was Hunter's is just kind of a lazy response, right? Like, let's get creative with it, guys. If the White House is going to say that they're and guys, we're talking about, well, first off, it's the people's house, but we're talking about the most secure house in the United States, right? Just like I said earlier, if I dropped a bag of tea leaves or sugar, they're going to find out what it is, who it belonged to, the time it was dropped, or it will be linked right back to me, and they'll be knocking on my door like, "Is Dark home?" Right? Obviously using my full government name, but um, I think it's because they came out and said, "Well, we looked into it, we completed an investigation, and we have determined that we have absolutely no ideas whose it is." There ain't no way. There ain't no way. So let's get creative with our answers, guys. Let me know, who do you think it belonged to?
Yeah.
Was it
Well,
John Pierre, whatever her name is?
you know, so two things. Number one, in my next life, I want to be Hunter Biden. What
For
a
real.
fucking life this guy's got. He is.
He's living it
He's
up.
gonna have. He is like they're gonna have to. Scorsese's gonna have to do another like. What was that movie with Leonardo DiCaprio? Wolf of Wall Street, right? But
Mm,
a Hunter Biden. Like this guy has lived 10
facts.
lives and he's untouchable, right?
Yep.
But the other thing is that I guess so. First of all, how scary is it that if you believe that they actually have no idea who it is, that you could be outside of the situation room where the deepest, most sensitive things our nation has happens in that room,
Yep.
right? I mean, the Osama bin Laden raid was one of them, right? I
Yep.
mean, this is where I mean, if there's any room in the world that has to have a camera outside it, it would be this one. But apparently, there's no cameras in this where this was found, which is deeply concerning to me
Of course.
as an American
If
citizen.
if what they're saying, of course, is
I,
true,
I
right?
I got you, but again, what they say changes, and then it goes to what they just won't say anymore, and then they just tell you to shut up, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But anyway, so when I got out of the Marine Corps, so here's some good information for you. So when I got out of the Marine Corps, I actually interviewed with the Secret Service, and
Really?
oh yeah, yeah, and so their process was at the time is they didn't have like a human resources department. You actually met with a agent who interviewed you, right? And so the
Mhm.
first part was you go, and I'm going to tell you the story to kind of relate to what we're seeing in this world. So I go to the first thing, and it's uh, a uniformed division. So there's a uniformed division, and then there's those that are assigned to the different political figures. Okay, but the uniformed division is one side. Oh, Saki forgot to circle back. There you go.
Dude,
Yeah,
classic,
it's perfect.
classic. Ninjas
Perfect.
everywhere. Excellent.
But anyway, this uniformed division officer, got up and he gave this like tremendous speech, right?
Mhm.
And he's very polished, crisp uniform, like um, talking about integrity and courage and honor.
Mhm.
And one of the biggest draws of the speech as he was talking was the fact that the Secret Service is one rung or one wrongdoing away from being the FBI. And basically, what he was saying in this speech is, we're up here and we're never going to fuck up and be considered the FBI. So, in,
Mm.
in essence, what he was saying in the speech is, we live on the highest of integrity, and
Yeah.
we know that they don't. Now, this is going back 25 years, right? 20 years
Mm.
plus. Okay.
They
20
knew what
years.
was up even back then.
Okay. And so for me, that really stuck out in that discussion because, from their perspective at that time in that culture, to them, it was very important that they were not looked in the same category as the FBI.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But after the events of the last 2 weeks, I don't see how, I don't know what has happened to that culture, but apparently it is going way down because I think it was really bad how they've just said, we've investigated, it's over, shut up, story's dead. Like, that's it, it's done.
It's
We don't
crazy.
know. We don't know. And I think it's even for me, like personally, it's even less. It's not about the cocaine, right? Like all those
Mhm.
fucking people are doing blow. Like who we can, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like
Yeah.
they fucking those jobs are so stressful. They probably so many of them are.
Yeah.
Okay, The
for sure.
the problem isn't whose it is. The problem is the line, right? It was it
100%.
was the game of Clue. It was, tourists in the East Wing. It was construction workers, in the library. It was just like who done it. It was all over the place
Yeah.
until we get to here, and then it was, well, we don't know, so that's it. It's over. And it's like, I understand it's politics, and we're used to this, but at what point can you consciously say to yourself, do you see why people aren't fucking trusting you? Do you
Yeah.
see what I mean, I know they don't care too, but the danger to me, in my mind, as I look at us as the American citizens, is they have totally gotten to the point of, we don't care that you feel like peasants, you are, and we're not ashamed to
Yep.
fucking talk to you like them anymore. Do you know what I mean? Like the
Yep.
fakeness is gone. At least for some people, they could pretend they mattered.
Yeah. Well, I
That
mean,
we
think
lived
about
under
it.
this.
Think about like what's happening next year, right? We're gonna have an election. This was an opportunity for them, right? If they were really great manipulators, like you're saying, now they just don't give a
Yeah,
fuck. It's
yeah,
like when a dude drinks and beats his wife enough, it's like there's no reason to take her on a date, right? She, it's like we've got y'all. You can't do nothing unless you want to lose your power, your Wi-Fi. I'm just kidding. Your internet, your Wi-Fi, your all that. No, y'all don't want you. If y'all lost your Amazon Prime, y'all would go crazy. Okay,
yeah.
so they know that they got the American people by the balls and
Mm,
the world by the balls. But if they were really, truly highly skilled manipulators, this was their opportunity to tell the truth to at least get. I mean, look at you got at least 50 to 60% of the country that watches mainstream media. This
mm,
was their chance to deliver honesty and maybe reel a good portion back in to listen
yeah.
to at least a few more months of bullshit before they were like, "Oh man, these fools are lying
Yeah,
again," you know?
right, right, right. And like last time we talked about that stuff. So about like the election, and we talked about like the next election is the turning point, right? Like it's the
Mhm.
inflection point, And I have thought a lot about our discussion of that too, and I take a look. It's so funny how just like every couple of months we connect, how much shit really fucking happens in between, dude. It is
I know.
amazing the amount of stuff that goes down. What's up, Wilbur? Look at that. Thank you, bro.
Dang. P38 Wilbur,
Supporting the man. Good
$10
job,
super
bro.
chat. Thank you,
Thank you.
brother. He says, "Wow, the legend that taught this greenhorn how to build first time quality." Hell yeah,
Yep,
man.
yep,
Dude, I gotta say, P38 has been here from the beginning, bro. From the beginning. A lot of y'all have, so don't get jealous, okay? But P38 has been here from the beginning. So shout out to you, bro. It's great to have you still here, man. And
yeah.
I see
P38.
you.
Head over to the university. Hit up support. We'll give you a free download too.
Damn.
All right,
Okay,
man.
so if they
Or
so
class, whatever they want. Whatever they want.
dang old Matt
And
and
P38
P38
Wilbur.
Wilbur, if
So
they
far, the night
email,
is young.
that's true. That's true.
The night is young.
Dude, I heard you had a dope ass GST9 full build video
I do.
available
I do. And I'm going to be
for
working on the next one too. The next one. Got a
and
whole
it's
new series, coming out. Again, we're not filtered. Like people that watch me on YouTube understand, how watered down those videos were as is,
mhm.
right? Because I was actually following their thing. I've never published a video that was soup to nuts, right? We
Yeah.
couldn't, right? I would do things in very micro stages. And
Mhm.
again, even in that, there were some things that we couldn't do under those umbrellas.
Yeah.
And so now it's you're going to be seeing things you never thought possible before,
All those
that we're
folks out
stressing about.
there, those black box builders, they know.
Yeah, black
They've
box
watched.
builders. Ah, that's a secret.
Oh
That's a
yeah,
secret.
oh yeah. Sorry,
That's
that's
a secret. That's a secret.
yeah. But the
Um,
the people that've been doing it for a while, they know. Dude, I remember watching you. I was like, man, I still don't have flits, right? But I've been watching you since the beginning, from everything from polishing, even just cleaning your LPK before
yeah,
do a little bit of work on it, right? Put some love into it. And I still got squeaky
slide.
yeah, guide rods and I know I don't do everything, but man,
Yeah.
my frames though. Boy, my shit
Yeah,
is on point thanks to you.
factory
You taught
floor.
me how to build, bro. You taught me how to build for real.
Yeah.
As one of the instructors, as the head instructor of Freedom Crew University. I'm just kidding. I'm letting that get to my head, guys. But as one of the instructors at Freedom Crew University, I can say that like everything I learned started with you, and it's a beautiful thing to kind of bring that back together.
It is, and we've got so much more building still to do. We've
Yes.
got so much. Gotta have flits and a little mothers, right? A little bit of
Yes.
both,
Yeah.
right? A little bit of both. I agree.
DLD,
What were we
did you
talking about? We
see?
were talking about something.
Yeah, sorry. Um,
I
you
forget.
were giving a class away,
Oh no,
and
yeah,
then
no, I
before that,
remember. I think I remember.
yeah, go ahead.
You're
Oh,
younger than me. You're
the
supposed to remember.
election.
Oh, the inflection point in the election.
Yeah.
So here's what's changed. Not that it's changed, but it's becoming overwhelmingly evident,
Hmm.
right? This election's done.
Yeah,
It's already
it's already
done.
been determined.
It's done.
Oh,
And you know,
we
and
have
people
a
people
build.
say that.
We have an AK build class. We just throw that
Yes,
out
we
there.
do. Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it's already been determined. And now I'm also a little nervous to have this conversation on YouTube. But yeah, so just dancing around it. But I think it's already been
Well, I'll
determined,
tell
yes.
you why I think it's already done. All
Hmm.
right. I won't be any conspiracy theorist. It's just observation. Okay.
Yeah.
Communication, we know that 80% of it is body language, right?
Hmm.
15% tone of voice, like 5% the actual word you say.
Hmm.
Look how fucking comfortable these people are.
Oh yeah.
No matter, the world is literally falling apart around them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm,
That's
whatever.
true. That's a
It's,
good point.
and they talk, they're like, okay. Yeah. Oh, you're complaining about this today? Great, peasant. Okay, peasant. Right. You're running for office? Do you have any fundraising? No, no, I don't care. Going to the beach. You're gonna go have dinner with world leaders? No, I don't feel like it tonight. Right. I mean, it's just like, you want to come talk to us? No. It's an election season. Yeah, that's great. Like they're so checked out, like it doesn't even matter. And that to me says it doesn't even fucking matter.
Yeah,
Right.
I believe that. And they either like like we said, it's either already completed, right? Like it's already in the bag, or something so catastrophic is planned that it won't matter. And I mean, look, I mean,
True.
mm,
True.
yeah, dang. Um, Rip Dango, thank you, brother. Appreciate the $2 super chat. Thank you for the nice show. Respect. Somebody also asked how to sign up for Freedom Crew University. You just go.
Let's go to this website, man.
Yeah, go. It's pretty easy. You don't have to pay nothing to sign up. You don't have to do.
Yeah.
There are things for sale on the website, though. I will let you know that there are videos. So and we can get on this later to kind of describe like the concept of starting Freedom Crew University and then kind of what we had to shift to. And
Yeah.
every now and then somebody be like, "Y'all are selling videos?" All right, hold on. Y'all asked for this shit, all right? But yeah, we can get to that. Thank you, Rip Danko. Appreciate you, brother. Thank
Yeah, and I'll say this. Yes, there are some videos that are for sale,
you. Hmm.
obviously, right?
Yeah.
But for every video that you're gonna pay a whole $5 for, God forbid you
Oh
spend
man.
$5 to support, somebody who's put, these instructors have put all this work in. But for every video that you spend $5 for, there's like 20 free videos, right? So
Yeah.
there's a ton of free stuff for download, right? This isn't really about making money. It's about keeping the signal going, right? About
Yeah.
being able to publish this on a platform that's not controlled by a third party,
Yeah.
right? And so yeah. I think our most expensive video is $8, right? So
And
you
and
know,
think guys, think of how much would go into creating one's own platform where they could post any and all content that they want with no restrictions, where they could live stream with no restrictions. Freedom Crew University has become a platform where we drop videos, where we live stream, where you get all the instructors dropping content. It's also a place, it's kind of like All right, look, this is the only way I can describe it to people that are using devices and the internet and YouTube to watch us right now. If YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter had a baby, and then they gave the baby to us, and then we adopted it, and then we taught that baby free speech, and that baby was a constitutionalist, that's what Freedom Crew University is,
Good analogy. Good
right?
analogy.
That's the
Yeah,
only way I could think to say it,
good analogy.
you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, so that's why we created it. A lot of work goes into that, right? So with that, the ability to keep the site going, to keep classes going, to keep we're not pulling any money out of the shit,
No,
just to be completely honest. I
no.
have not made a dollar off of it. None of us have made any dollars off of it. It is just, I mean, we're in the
Some of
negative
us
now.
lose a lot of money on it. As a
Yeah,
matter of
yeah,
fact.
yeah.
As a matter of fact.
Yeah, we're not profitable at this point. But how important is it that we build this in the beginning into something bigger that can be a platform where we can say whatever we want, do whatever we want, do live streams and show people how to build I mean, constantly people are looking for the content that they thought was still on YouTube when they go to build a frame or go to do something and shit doesn't work, right? And then
Yeah.
people are hitting me up constantly on Instagram and all these other things, and I'm trying to help as many people as I can. And with all the different rules in different states, it can be challenging. So this just kind of opens up the floodgates for everyone.
Yeah, and I could put myself on the other side too, and we, have the honest discussion, right? I mean, people are used to getting all this information at no cost anytime they want it, you know. The reality though is it's impossible to provide it with the type of systems that you run and do it, right? So, like, every time somebody is buying a video, they're not just buying a video from themselves, they're helping us keep this going so we help the next patriot. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like, it's really about that, right? It's
And you, the viewer, are no longer the product.
correct.
Your shit isn't being sold to all these companies that are
Correct.
buying it to
And nobody
determine.
knows what you fucking yeah, what you're watching, because you
Yep.
guys are all, in order to have YouTube, you're signed into your Google account. It's
Mhm.
tracking exactly what you're watching, right? It knows exactly what you're doing, and
Yep.
you know who's watching that, right?
Yep.
Same people watching that, same people getting your Bank of America records, right? So yeah, that's a whole nightmare in itself. Yes.
Bro, hey, I just want to throw this out there really quickly. Let me see if I can find him in chat. Ladies and gentlemen, Damian Christ just joined Freedom Crew University. Congratulations, brother. Appreciate you
Yeah.
supporting the fam. Thank you.
Yeah. P38 did too. I saw you, bro.
Oh, oh, hey, yeah, I just saw
Yeah.
both.
Yeah.
Nice, man. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
See, we get
Yeah, so
live.
come on over, enjoy the streams. They're all free. Watch Dark's things. I have Sunday Night Survival. We're going to bring in some other people as well. Obviously, we got groups too. We got the Glock Build group. We got the AR Builders group. We got the 3D printing group.
Yep.
Live stream channel members. That
Channel
is you,
members.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, videos, classes, self-paced classes. Um, all sorts of stuff, and continuing to roll out. We got an assembly, a P80 assembly self-paced course that myself and Banshee have been working on for about the last month. That's about to roll out, all cool graphics that we got together and put together so that, so you know what it is. We're very thorough, right?
Yeah,
Some of the
for
stuff
sure.
may take time, but we're very thorough.
Bro, trust me, I got a GST9 and jig and all the shit just sitting right there with a fresh slide barrel, a bunch of shadow system shit just ready to go, and it's sitting because I know that I need to actually film it and
Yeah,
edit it, and that it's a lot. If you're doing the whole kit and caboodle from the beginning to the end, I
right,
mean that's a lot,
right.
you know?
Right, but we got a new generation to take under our wing, and I've been so happy about seeing the reports about the new generations. Like the millennials, and now deep into their 30s, right? But Gen Z is coming along, and I was really afraid at first. But if you start to look at the swaying, um, they're starting to really come in high volumes into the Second Amendment community. So
Yeah.
I'm really kind of surprised about that. I mean, as far as like what we do, this is an older person type thing. Our
Yeah,
median student age is 46.8. That just tends to be who gravitates towards that.
yeah,
Um, yeah. So, but I see on Twitter all the time the massive followings of young people trying to become unindoctrinated, uh,
yeah, yeah.
which is fantastic.
Yeah, it is. It's cool as shit, especially looking at like, you know, I think there's a couple of things with this. The availability of information, right? And I think, have you ever tried to convince a millennial of something? They're like, hold on, what? No,
Yeah,
bullshit.
yeah,
Nope. This says that it's like,
yeah.
whoa.
Wikipedia says, yeah,
Yeah, right.
yeah.
So like, and oh man, so I actually on my stream on Freedom Crew University, I touched on this. If you go on your phone and you type in like, you know, and I hate to use this pejorative word. Oh, nice, we got it. Damn, 7 new people jumped in Freedom Crew University. Dang. Okay, that's more than a what 10% something like that. 10% turnaround. Thanks, guys. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, live life. Goonbeam, SJ Rogers, nice. P30 Wilbur Demon, man, you guys are incredible, man. Hell yeah, I love all you guys. Um,
Can I answer Kurt's question?
oh yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
So Kurt asked about the forum button. So we switched that to groups. We have better controls when it's in groups than when it's in forums. So I learned things from being on a Marine Gun Builder site and domain about how we ran things. And when I say freedom protector, I mean it. We'll go to any length to protect the freedoms of the people in our crew. And so I learned some things about that. And then when we transitioned over here, we changed it. All right. So it's now groups. It's not in that same forum format anymore. And it can't be, unfortunately, at the moment.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a good way to put it. Um, it's a really interesting thing what lengths people of opposing beliefs have gone to change the narrative to the point that, for an example, in the state of Virginia, it is 100% lawful for you to build your own firearms, right? Otherwise, I probably wouldn't be going on YouTube with a wall of 70 P80 boxes with another 20 on the shelf with all these. But, I've clearly been
Mhm.
openly discussing this shit for a long time. And it is completely lawful to
Yep.
build your own, privately manufactured firearms. And the term that they typically use is ghost guns. Now, I looked up one day, somebody told me it's illegal in Virginia to build a ghost gun. And I was like, what? So I Googled it, and guess what happened? I Googled ghost gun. Now, I specifically used Google on purpose. I Googled ghost gun laws in Virginia. And you know what happened? It
Mhm.
said that it was illegal to obliterate a serial number, to the da da da, like all the shit that we know, right? Those are felonies. You can't do that. And then it worded it in such a way that was so confusing, and so it would make people believe that it was illegal. And guess at the very bottom, guess what the source was?
Giffords, Brady, Moms Demand
Giffords.
Action. All right, one
Giffords.
of them, right? Every
The
town. It's
and
one
it
of
was
them.
the first thing on Google that
They
popped
control
up.
all the SEO for these keywords.
Exactly.
They
And
do.
this is exactly what I had said on my last live stream on Freedom Crew University,
Yep.
the one I forgot to click record on. That's my bad. But these, okay, so Alphabet, right? Google, YouTube, Alphabet, the company that owns both of them, Giffords, Everytown, Brady, all these people, they are literally walking lockstep with our federal government, and they are controlling every single possible thing that they can to control the narrative. This is not a theory. This is not a conspiracy. This is pure fact. And even if we
Of course.
only looked at the Twitter files alone,
Of
we know
course.
this to be true.
Yeah. Of course.
So,
I mean, it's blatant. It's
mhm,
blatant. And just look at the companies. you know, I feel terrible for the companies in our industry. I really do.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel absolutely, my fucking heart bleeds for them. And they're getting bled out too. I mean, let's face it, right? Let's face it, right? They're
Yeah.
getting attacked every which way possible.
Yeah.
And even for them, like the lying that occurs, that, you know, like I'll see customers get pissed, right? Like people come out like, why doesn't they send here? They don't send here. You know, it's perfectly legal to get it here. And it's like, you know what? That person's right. You know, it is legal to ship there. The problem is that on that state's website, it says that their law says it doesn't, even though their law doesn't say it does.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can go to some of these places and it will say, like, in summary, the law is there are no ghost guns allowed here. But then you read the actual law and it says nothing about that. It says, yeah, people have the right to do this, because they don't want to get it overturned on that,
Yeah.
right? Where a piece of plastic can't come into your city, right?
Yeah.
You know, so the summary, they do it. And then unfortunately, we do have sometimes, in some instances, where companies pick up on it, and because one company did, all the other companies do too, right? But you can't blame them, because they don't want to fucking get sued either for sending it in a place that's unknown or unclear, and it's written broad. But here's the thing. It's not going to be a ghost gun anymore. They're changing that narrative. So again, you've got to stay ahead of this, right? Privately made firearms, build your own gun, ghost gun. Okay. They're now calling them crime guns. That's the new term. So they're switching from ghost gun to crime gun. And as a matter of fact, Brady's hiring positions in Chicago right now that they fund, that they're paying for crime gun specialists. So, you know, they're putting people in place in Chicago to, when there is a crime, work with law enforcement in tracing back where that gun came from. Crime gun. Again, not the crime or the behavior or what the incident was. That's not the intention of this position. The position is the gun, gun. And it's like, this is all we go to, right? We're not interested in solving the behavior or the crime or the felony or getting help and assistance for the victim or anything like that. We're only interested in the gun.
Or keeping the crime
gun or gun violence, where we're not interested in the violence, only the gun. These things are starting to come to fruition. Okay? And there's a lot of money behind it.
I mean, and we're not keeping the individuals that are committing heinous crimes in jail, right, or in prison or locked up. But so crime guns were actually, and I was kind of shocked to hear this, crime guns were actually a true term that was used by the ATF, and it may still be, and this is why they may be trying to blur the lines on this. I wasn't aware of it. When they use the trace software or whatever, they were supposed to use, like, let's say Glocks for an example, right? Let's say somebody removed or obliterated the 3 serial numbers on the Glock, but there's a QR code on the, frame. There's other cage numbers. There's all sorts of shit inside a Glock frame that, a lot of you guys probably out there know too.
Yeah.
To where they can still trace it to see where it came from and all that. And if crime guns are supposed to be, by the ATF's own definition, with using the trace software and all that shit, are supposed to be guns that were actually used in crimes. So you're saying that they're trying to use that term for all privately manufactured firearms?
Well, I don't know if it's just privately manufactured, but why are they hiring people specifically to help agencies and cities and departments with those guns? It's got nothing to do with the third party. That's a government's responsibility. Correct?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Why this is the cozy relationship we're talking about, though, right? Like, you will work with us because we paid to get you fucking mayor in. Right? So you're going to work with the people I put in place, and you're going to share information with them to help us move our agenda forward, which is get rid of your rights, Mr. Joe or Jane Citizen. Okay? Is to take them away. So, yeah, listen, this stuff is not going to get any better. I'm sure you want to talk about Vanderstock tonight, right? Yeah. And huge win, right? But listen, I was saying this years ago, Okay. And understand the person who's saying it. The person who's saying it was the person who was censored the most. Right.
Yeah.
Like I put out a post like, here are all the representatives, here's their numbers, you can call them, and they would take it down. I wasn't saying anything. I'm telling you to go comment on the registry, right? I wasn't saying anything other than telling what we are as advocates. We're advocates, right? Just like they're advocates. I want you to go exercise your right and comment. And I want you to call your representative, and here it is. But those anything against the narrative gets taken down, no matter what it is, because they don't want contesting.
And
Right?
what platform was it taken down?
Facebook. Yeah, it was on Facebook. Yeah.
This was your old group?
That was on my page. Yeah, my regular page.
Oh,
So
wow.
so the Marine Gun Builder Facebook page was taken down the moment they announced Biden was president. Did I tell you that story?
You did, but I think it's
Yeah.
important for everyone else to hear. And maybe we could even touch on one of the largest websites for
Oh, I think that's very well. I don't want to get us down that, but I find that very interesting. I don't know anything other than why did that happen?
I mean,
yeah.
if you want to share an observation later on tonight, that's totally up to you.
Well, I'll share the observation. We just won't say the website, but there is a very huge website that sold a lot of 80% person to person, dealer to dealer. Okay, that's all I'll say on that huge website. That where individual FFLs sell, dealers sell, and private citizens buy from all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as Vanderstock was announced, it was flooded with 80% listings. Okay,
For very fair pricing.
Very fair pricing. But as soon as Vanderstock was settled, and the judge vacated that, and you could sell them all day long now. Okay, those listings all disappeared. They took them down. So why would they take them all down the moment that the decision went that you could do it?
Yeah.
But they were flooded when it was unclear.
Almost like they were
Weird,
all fed
weird,
ops, right?
Weird. But anyway, so yeah, so look, so in these groups, so like Facebook, specifically, I have, and the moderators there in those groups, we knew for years that this was not Facebook. Just like it's not YouTube. Like you guys, we're just conditioned, oh, it's YouTube. It's not YouTube. Okay. And we knew that it wasn't Facebook. We knew that Facebook wasn't pulling these posts or flagging these posts. Like it didn't make sense that Facebook would flag certain things and then allow a whole bunch of other stuff. Let me give you an example. Facebook's algorithm, like, so if I think about like one of the groups I had, one of the biggest groups I had on Facebook, and understand we had AR groups, we had Glock groups, tons of Glock groups, but the P80 Master Builders group was really big when it came to Polymer 80.
Yeah.
We would probably accept 3 out of every 100 the algorithm recommended.
Wow.
Okay? Because 97% of what they were sending us were fake profiles or people that weren't United States citizens, things like that, right? Like just nonsense. So a lot would get denied. But anyway, they would remove posts and it wouldn't make sense on the posts that they removed. But then you would look in other groups of absolute illegal activity happening and they're allowing that to stay. So it was like the more we ran the cleanest group as possible, right? With, understand we had like 12, 13 moderators every day, making sure everything was up to stuff, right? But yet you go to a different group and it's the fucking wild, wild west, right?
Yeah.
And not only is it the wild, wild west, but they spent an awful lot of time, the admins and moderators of those groups, knocking our groups.
Yeah.
And you're like, why the fuck is this happening, right? And so it became clear that those other groups were controlled by feds.
Fed ops.
Right? Yeah. Like you're literally in a group where they're sowing division against other people. Why?
It's all
Why? Why are they doing that? And they're collecting your information. And then
yeah,
if we're saying anything in contrast to it, like, guys, you got to pay attention to that, those posts would get removed.
yeah,
They're fucking further fucking telling us that, right? Like,
yeah.
what the fuck?
It's the same thing. There is no length that they will not go
Oh,
to
man.
subvert
No,
us, to
there
subvert
isn't.
our, and it's the same
There
thing
isn't.
as like how often do you see, a post that may be completely factual or maybe someone just sharing an observation and it gets like flagged or Instagram is like, this is misinformation. Do you still want to see this or some shit like that, right? But then the same thing I was mentioning, like Giffords or Everytown or Brady or whoever, right? Moms demand action. I'll give some moms some action. But they'll, post something and then they'll actually be deliberately distributing misinformation to make people think that it's illegal to carry a gun in a state or that it's illegal to build a gun in a state, deliberately disseminating incorrect information. But the moment that we share something, like I'm telling you, there is no lengths that they will not go to stop the signal. It is their job, and this is why you see shorts like YouTube shorts that are sitting at like 75 million views of a dude running a Glock with a switch, and you see the text that says, "Hit me up on my Instagram for a switch or whatever." It's like what
Because
what
those are controlled accounts.
100%.
Like, don't be a fucking idiot and do that shit, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just it's so and it's such a waste of fucking time and resources. And that, I think that's what aggravates us, because then you have cocaine in the fucking White House. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
this is the fucking shit. You know, it just I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
know. Anyway, so yes, I don't go on social media. As you know, they don't want me on there, so I don't want to go on there. You know, I'm like, I'm so, I mean, it's been years, right? You understand that the stuff that you guys know now, I've known for years that this was occurring. You know,
Yeah.
years. We saw it because we got hit long before. If you can remember back in like November of last year, I said to you last year in November, so that's 9 months ago.
Mhm.
Okay. 9 months ago, you go back to that video. I said, the person who's going to undo it all for us, who's going to make it all come to fruition, I said, was Hunter Biden. Do you remember I told you that? I said that 9 months ago in the stream. I said Hunter Biden is the guy who's gonna expose it all, because he's such a fuck up that they're
He's
not
just
going to
such a
be able to
fucking
hide
mess.
it anymore. Right? They're not going to be able to hide him.
That's true. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do recall that vaguely.
So anyway, with Facebook, basically what happened was, um, and again, I knew that it was monitored. I knew that, we're heavily watched, and I was probably in the mind frame of that time that most people were, which is like, we just accept it, right?
Yep.
Yes, very true, Samantha. Like, we just
Yeah.
accept it,
That is Freedom
like,
Crew University, by the way. Sorry, go
yeah,
ahead and
that we
interrupt.
accept it though. Like, okay, they're gonna monitor and watch us. It's fucking silly. It's stupid. It's a time waster. It's a poor use of resources. But you just accept it, right? Because you have this stupid mindset, and it is stupid, that I don't break any laws. So what do I care if I'm on a list? Or what do I care if they're watching me, right? I know I'm not doing anything wrong. Okay. We tell us that it's a stupid fucking attitude to have. Okay. They got
Yeah.
no business doing what they're doing. None. No business. All right. So anyway, I knew that. But then there was a couple of days when they weren't sure who the president was going to be. Okay, remember, it was like Trump was way ahead, but then the next day, Biden's creeping up, and then finally on the third day, they announced him as president. And the moment I was actually watching Ben Shapiro's show, the moment they did it and announced him as president, my Facebook account, so not just my business page, the Marine Gun Builder business page, but my personal page, every photo that I was ever tagged in on Friends. Like, so you have to understand that I was on Facebook when Facebook first came out, right? Like long before the Facebook that you know today. So it used to really just be about connecting with your high school friends, connecting with your, people I served with, people I was friends with in high school. It was a really fun place in 2008, 2009.
Yeah,
Okay.
it
It
was
was
way
a fun
different.
place. But understand that I had decades of photos and cousins' weddings that I went to, because that's what people did back then, you
Yeah.
know? And part of all that, and all of that was removed. Like photos that people tagged of me on their profile, they removed. Like I never existed in my business page. And there are certain folks that we can go to um, as like content creators, and they can help us resolve these things typically with social media companies. And I went to that group,
Hmm.
and they were like, we can't resolve this one, sorry. I'm like, I literally haven't even fucking I posted. Like what the fuck. I'd never been in trouble on Facebook before, ever.
Hmm.
Never been in the Facebook jail, none of that stuff. And I'm like, but they left the builders groups up. So they deleted me and all of me and anything to do with the Marine Gun Builder as a business page, but left all the builder groups up, but
Now,
just removed me from them.
why in the
Right?
world would they ever do that?
So I was like, wow, this shit's on now. They're full time here. Like this isn't, hey, you know, Agent Smith, when you got time, go check this out.
Yeah, this is a
This was
room full.
hard dedicated resources to the
Yeah.
shit, right? And so obviously I knew then that it was way more serious than that. Okay.
Hmm.
But fast forward to the Twitter files, because that was really how we got on this talk. Then it came out in the Twitter files exactly what happened. It wasn't just me at that day, at that moment, but it was James Wood, the actor, my neighbor. Okay. It was thousands of other people that they had pre-identified, that were people that would oppose Joe Biden,
Yeah.
right? That would oppose him, or have a voice that of influence that could oppose him. And thousands of us were deleted all at the same time.
Mm,
Is this not a problem? Is this not a
100%.
problem?
It,
So
it-
if
it's,
I tell you, hey, listen, this is how you go advocate for yourself, and here's how you contact your representative, you can't know that information. We won't allow that to happen, but
yeah.
we'll run a fair and free democratic process. And if we perceive somebody could be or has a voice that could go against what we want to push, we'll remove them ahead of time too. And so, I mean, obviously we live in this, now it's all known. Now
Yeah.
it's all known. But I was saying then, this is way more bigger than you. Listen, everybody needs to be fucking come aware of this, because this is a big problem. This is not about me. This is a huge problem that we're going to do this. But also put yourself in these social media position companies. And I'm not sticking up for them in any means. As far as I'm concerned, I am going to die with a heavy grudge against Facebook, because they took away family history from me that I can't get back. Because I
Yeah.
said that to the group. I said, you know what? They don't want me on the platform. That's fine. But they need to let me download fucking videos of my kids when they were fucking born and they were growing up. And cousin, like, you can't fucking do that to people, you
Yeah.
know? Back then, it was a direct link. Like you take the photo in Facebook and it stored it. Like,
Yeah.
whatever. Um, but
Ice cream dipper. What's up, brother?
oh, I love that guy.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
bro.
sorry. You get me on a whole fucking emotional rant here with that.
Oh, bro, I feel you,
Facebook,
man.
Facebook is so you can understand the dangers of you're a company, and I don't care if you're the Bank of America or you're Facebook or you're Google. And again, not sticking up for them, but federal government comes in and sits down and says, "Hey, listen, I'm with three-letter this alphabet agency,
Hmm.
and we want this information.
Yeah, we want to monitor them. We want to
How
watch
many
them.
times are you going to be able to tell them no before they shut you down?
So that's
You
it.
know?
It's interesting that you say that, because I've said several times before. You guys have probably heard me say this. Like it never starts right. This is the 1 degree at a time. The pot is increasing in heat, right?
Yeah.
YouTube wasn't it, like, in the beginning, wasn't a leftist extremist organization, right? Google wasn't a leftist extremist organization. They weren't always in lockstep with the federal government, right? This is something that happens over time. This is something that happens having to do with funding, right? I could never see YouTube being profitable without Google, right?
Right.
Like there's no way that that
Right.
relationship could exist in isolation of itself. There has to be both, or they don't work. But they have to be both, and they have to be receiving funding from the United States government. That if I were to guess, and I am guessing, I have no idea, but I don't think it's Google feeding money to the feds. You know what I'm saying? I
I
would guess that it's the
no,
feds feeding money to the.
yeah.
I mean, they got.
I think the conversation goes like this. I think the conversation goes like this. We need information from you. It's gonna help us out, right? You want to help out your government, right?
Yeah. Don't you
You
wanna
like
do
doing
your
business here,
country a
right? You
service?
make a lot of money here, right? You
Mhm.
want to help us out. Shakedown.
You're already getting the data.
Shakedown, right?
Yeah.
And then YouTube or whatever, Facebook, Instagram gives them the access and they get cozy. Okay. And then here's what happens: one hand washes the other.
Yeah.
There's this other company that's come into the American space called TikTok, and they're taking away a lot of our users and advertising revenue. And imagine how much money we make now. $15 billion a fucking quarter we make. But you know what? That TikTok over there, they're making 20 billion too. And that could be 35 billion in our pocket, right? Total.
Mhm.
So I'll tell you what, you know how we help you out? Go get rid of them. Go make them a Chinese spy organization or do something, but get rid of them. Okay. Right?
Mm.
Get rid of my
Yeah.
competition for me. Make sure nobody can touch me. Right? Make sure
Yeah.
nobody can touch me and I'll help you.
It's like
And
the
so
drug
that's where they get
dealer.
their money from.
Yeah,
Right?
it's like the drug dealer on the block that
Oh,
never gets busted, right? When he gets locked up, he's released right away, right? He's always got a reason and an excuse, and that's, you know what I mean? It's like, all right, like he's
yeah.
untouchable, right? His organization is always running it. It's like, all right, how are you running this cleanly, right? Like something's going on. They got a relationship here. Hey, Gerchop, what's up, bro?
I think with most of these political issues, there is they get away with things scot-free. But I think that honestly, the two things that they hit the wall with that are hurting them are guns, right?
Yeah.
And the whole gender thing, right? Like those are two walls that they hit that are hard for them to overcome. You know, the gender one is a whole different topic, but at the core of it, boy, girl, you know what I mean? Like
Man,
that's at the core of the discussion, and the more they get crazy, the more that the regular person looking at it is like, yeah, chopping off a 9-year-old's dick's not cool. Removing the breasts of a 14-year-old girl ain't cool. Like,
yeah.
they're not going to win that argument long term.
You
Okay.
know, I gotta say the most hilarious thing that I had seen, and I forgot I queued up a video for tonight. I had to, I had to. The funniest thing I had seen was it was a meme, but it was really truly just a screenshot, but they nailed this shit. It was a picture of like Amazon, and it was a shirt, and it said, "There are more than two genders," right? To
Yeah.
the right of that, it said, "Select which style you would like, men's or women's." And it was
Right.
just
Right.
circled, and it was like,
Right.
"Bro, that nailed it. You
Oh,
fucking
man.
nailed it." It was a beautiful thing.
Right.
And it's so funny because like this, I look, I never thought that. Let me back up because I have to preface this with something else. Um, I don't care what individuals do in the privacy of their own home, on their own time, do their own thing. I don't care. Don't shove it down my throat. I won't shove my shit down your throat. And just do you, okay?
Yeah.
I never thought that I would see the United States being pushed by people. in leadership positions, whether it be teachers, librarians, nurses, doctors, people in the military, people in true leadership positions, people in law enforcement or wherever, and they're pushing people to and children to run around with sodomy flags, and they're taking the rainbow, which is God's promise to us that he'll never flood, our world again, and they're turning it into a flag that promotes sodomy. And I think that you know what, if that's your thing, if that's what you want to do, that's cool. But for you to force others to promote it, and for you to force children to promote it, it is wrong. It doesn't belong anywhere like that shit just irks me, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't run around talking about how much I love blowjobs. I love blowjobs, right? Blowjobs are the greatest. But if I were to pick it with a sign talking about how I love blowjobs from females, by the way. Like, imagine, oh my,
The head instructor.
the head instructor is your boy. I don't know. It's just crazy to me, man.
But it's the world we live in, and I think that's the so again, it's an argument that it's getting to the point of ridiculousness. Yeah, right, Nate, exactly.
You know what? On that,
maybe that's the blow. That's where the blow came from.
True, it could have come out of the bra.
Right.
Chicks and now even dudes too, I guess,
Right.
do hide stuff in their bra. And with that, I believe it's time to showcase the video. Are you ready?
Yeah.
God bless America.
Oh my God. Did he just sniff her?
He sniffed her.
No way.
So he didn't know she was recording. He thought he was taking a picture.
Oh my God.
And he's like, "Oh, you're recording. You're recording."
Yeah.
So listen again for the sniffs. 3, just his nose is so close to the microphone.
Crazy.
Okay, hold on. One more time. Don't tell mommy what I told you.
My God. Oh my
Bro,
God.
what kind of
Oh my God.
He's like, "You got it?" She's like, "Oh, I got it." It's just
nuts.
okay.
Nuts.
Oh.
Nuts. I know. Welcome. So this is why we build guns, because we got to protect ourselves, because these people are not going to. These people are making this world very dangerous. Very dangerous.
Dude.
Very dangerous.
And they're normalizing. I don't even want to say they're normalizing the abnormal, because like I don't care if something is normal, right? But they're normalizing crazy. They're normalizing psycho, and then so
and then if you say that, there's something wrong with you and you're a radical.
Yeah.
And the Fed should come and watch you and put you on the list of the FISA warrant of 287,000 other people who think like you. And they should listen to your voicemails and your telephones and record your texts and your emails. 287,000.
Bro, I honestly, I talk on my phone like I talk on YouTube. I literally edit everything. I preface everything with, and of course, I would never do anything illegal.
Again, why? Why would you have to do that just for pointing out the obvious that there's seriously something wrong here?
Fear of incarceration.
Yeah.
Because we're being targeted.
Crazy. So anyway, yeah, I know. That's one issue that's going to be very, very difficult for them to overcome. Okay, because even Democrats, right? I'm not talking about far left. I'm talking about Democrats are like, the fuck?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I live in a heavy Democratic state. Heavy. This will never be a red state. Okay. And it's small. And so everybody you come in contact with pretty much is a Democrat. Okay?
So everyone you meet disagrees with you.
Basically. Well, Well, yeah, but I'm going to tell you, a lot of them on that point, well, all of them on that point that I've come across are just like, this is fucking bananas.
What do you think about the people that are saying that Sound of Freedom is a QAnon adjacent
Well, but
like
so that's like us saying that's crazy, right? About them and this, right? And
mhm.
so, but when they say that that's a QAnon conspiracy, are they having FISA warrants pulled against them for
Of course
being
not.
radical extreme? Right.
Of course not.
This is
Because
the two-tiered justice, right? This is
yeah,
the problem, right? It shouldn't be happening at all. They're welcome to their opinion. Okay, they're welcome to their opinion. Um, but anyway, I mean, these issues are you could put a text message of a shakedown, combine that with registered businesses, bank records, multiple bank records showing the money coming from overseas into that bank, into those shell corporations, then
yeah,
dispersed to multiple family members. You could have video evidence of people planting cocaine and it still wouldn't matter.
yeah, yeah,
Nothing matters anymore. You understand? It doesn't matter.
yeah.
It doesn't. And
It's
that's not
still a
being
conspiracy.
pessimistic. It's just get to that reality. You can't get upset about this shit because it doesn't matter. What you can do is build fucking guns and take care of your family and spend time with them, and
Yeah,
just protect yourself
and
because
prepare.
eventually this madness is all going to come to every city in America,
Yeah,
right? Because that's really what their rule has shown us. Destruction of American cities,
yeah,
right?
and,
And no shame about it. No shame.
yeah. John Crumplive, thank you for the $2
What's up,
super
Johnny
chat, bro.
girl?
Good to see you, man. You know, it's interesting because it seems like, or I guess I should say, it feels like it is an attack at every level from not only just our core values, but also our domestic energy, right? Our trade relationships. Can we get some Russian AKs back over here? Good God, man. If I could see another Ishmash 12 gauge, oh man, the Saigas, the 545s, they were like $450 back in the day, man. God, why didn't I do? But anyway, I mean, they're literally tearing it down one thread at a time,
Right.
and it's just sad to kind of see where we've come. So yeah, preparation is key, right? If
It's
I could
everything.
if my life was in a different place, honestly, right now, if I could, if I wasn't going through the specific set of circumstances that I am right now, which are just too difficult on their own to get into, I would literally go a half an hour to an hour out. I would buy property. I would make it as self-sufficient as I possibly could with water, food, obviously shelter and security as well. And I would do my absolute best to maintain the most self-sufficient garden, livestock, everything that I could to where I didn't need to work. My work was maintaining my
Mm.
homestead, right? Build a range, right? Like keep my family there, train, it's unfortunate that the, situation I'm in right now doesn't allow for that. But man, it seems like that's the only way to get as close as you possibly can to true freedom and independence. But even with that, we've spoken about this before. What happens? Let's say you bought a place cash. All right. What happens if you don't pay real estate tax?
Yeah, it's not yours.
Yeah, doesn't
And you
belong
can
to you.
go solar, but most of the time the fucking ordinance requires you to be plugged into the grid anyway. Like you
Hmm.
can't have just solar. They make
Yeah.
you, they force you to plug into the grid, right?
Yeah.
So, yes, there is a certain level of independence, but again, if you really think about it, though, you're running away from freedom
Yeah.
to
You're
try to be free. We're
yeah.
already live in America. We shouldn't have to do that.
100%. There has to be, and I hate to use the F word, there has to be a fight to maintain freedom. Now, I don't mean an active kinetic fight. I don't want that. I have no desire for that. Yes, I prepare with lots of firearms and ammunition and gear and training and all that shit.
Well, we're not going to
Oh my
have that,
god.
and we can't have that. So that's a thing that people talk about, but it's not in reality,
Yeah.
right? Like it was a reality, yes, in the 1700s. Okay, that's not a reality now. If we were to physically start fighting in a civil war like that, another country will come in and take advantage of it immediately, and
Mhm.
we would be undone. And I can tell you that as bad as this rule is, the next rule under a different premise is going to be a lot worse. Okay, so you
Yeah.
know, it doesn't do anybody any good. What we should do though, what we have to do is decide what this country is, because what it's supposed to be is not what it is.
Yeah.
And so right now you have four branches of government, right? Supposed to have three,
Yeah.
but we got a
Mostly plenty.
fourth, all right?
Fourth is
Which
the
is the
ATF.
surveillance state, right? The surveillance part of it.
Yeah.
The you know, which I guess is an extension of the executive branch, but even your Congress now, anytime anything comes up with what the executive branch is doing, they're 100% attacking, they're attacking anybody who opposes what the executive branch is doing, right? Like the Democrats in Congress today, in that hearing, they were totally protective of Ray, completely protective of him, you know.
I didn't watch. I'm not
So
hip.
but we see that in other instances as well, where they're very protective of the executive branch because Biden's in power, okay, and the Democrats are in power, so they're very protective of them. And so, and then you have the Supreme Court, obviously, who they're attacking like crazy. They're trying to show improprieties in certain justices, or now we should be looking at impeachment for certain injustices, all part of this deep state, drugging up old things, using warrants, I know all that stuff's going on, right? Trying to find a way to overtake that as well, okay, to take over the Supreme Court. Um, so yeah, man, we're in a pickle. We're in a pickle. And look, uh, here's the bad news of the night. We're only free because the Constitution starts with three words: "We, the people." And if we, the people, decide not to be free anymore, then we won't be free. And we, the people, could vote. Look, even with our stuff right now, huge wins, and we got more coming down the pipe from the Supreme Court, all right, and from the court system in general. But can you imagine a scenario if they had full control of Congress and Senate right now? What would our world look like if there was full control right now with overwhelming majority of vote? What would happen?
Man, I don't
This
even
was
know.
2008.
Yeah. I don't even know. I couldn't even begin. I mean, it would probably look like a lot more drone strikes. Probably a lot more, uh,
Well, they would ban guns immediately. That would be the
yeah,
first thing they did,
yeah.
right?
People that, are documented preppers would probably be tagged by the
Couple
federal
along.
government and be, have their door kicked in and have their shit stolen, right? And all like just like, the quartering of soldiers is, illegal, right? Like they would just take all of our shit, right? They would take all of our guns. I mean, most of us are rocking kit that's like fieldable, right? So they'd probably just take all of our shit,
Yeah,
take all of our guns, our ammunition, or just destroy it, right? I mean, shit, the military already destroys their own ammunition just to be able to purchase the same amount or larger amounts,
yeah.
on the next order. Have you seen those big ass fires that they just
Oh my
dump
God. I know.
thousands and thousands?
I
I
know.
mean, this had to have been close to 100,000 rounds of ammunition that
Yeah.
they just burnt.
Yeah.
and blew up. Yeah,
Mhm.
crazy.
So, I mean, if we the people make a mistake in voting, if there's an election, you have to think about that too. Like I said, there's a lot
Yeah.
of comfortability right now. They're way too casual and comfortable for my liking. It
Yeah.
shows, it's somebody that's like, there is no competition. So why am I going to do anything? I don't have to do anything.
Maybe
And
it's
I think it's
because oh, sorry, go ahead.
interesting with U UK reign, okay, where they just said right out, we're not having an election. It's wartime. We're not doing one. Okay. All right. And you'll all have to deal with it. So
There's been some other countries where that's happened, right? And right now there are some other countries where there are, I forgot the place. Somebody's going to correct me, but Print Shoot Repeat just did a video today um, about those guys that are literally 3D printing. Um, um, oh my God, the Jay Stark's design, the FGC 9, the F gun control 9. It's a 9 millimeter sub gun. It takes Glock mags, almost all 3D printed. Very few pieces.
mhm,
It's a sub gun that is made with zero firearm parts, right?
yeah,
And there was a military coup, and they literally just started a genocide and started taking all of these people out, all these villages out one at a time. And the only way that they were able to fight back, because they didn't have firearms available, were to 3D print FGC 9s and
yeah.
start capturing other equipment from the bad guys,
Right,
And
right.
man, I don't know. I mean, they're talking about having the Ukraine join. Okay, let me take this back one step. They're talking about having Ukraine join NATO. Okay.
Yeah, right.
Now we're in a position right now where 20 years ago, nearly 20 years ago, there was a CIA briefing, and it was not just the CIA, right? It was the director of the CIA, Scott Ritter, was in the meeting. The video is public; you can go find it wherever. And it was the DOJ. It was a huge meeting. Everyone was there. Okay, and they're like, Russia said that if we continue to expand NATO, they're going to um, they're going to annex Crimea, they're going to invade Ukraine, and they're willing to use nukes, right?
Yeah,
And then we continue to expand NATO. And then they did exactly what the fuck they said they were going to do if
right.
we continue to expand NATO, right?
Yeah,
And then they're like, well, we're not going to offer any lethal aid, right? But we'll give you javelins and firearms and money and med kits like, which is all lethal aid, right? And then they're like, well, why don't we just have Ukraine join NATO? That would solve everything. That would literally start World War III, like
yeah,
tomorrow.
yeah.
Tomorrow.
So instead, we give them cluster bombs.
Yeah, right?
Like, well, who cares? Because we give terrorists, $900 million worth of advanced helicopters and military equipment. So, it's at this point, what does it matter? You know?
Let me ask you that. As a lot of times when I've had you on a few times, I've never really focused on MGB, right? We focus on kind of current events and situations. I know we still got to hit Vanderstock. Where uh, it's probably my fault. I'm kind of segmenting the conversation. I apologize. But as a serviceman, as a Marine, what are your thoughts on us spending 2 decades sacrificing the next generation of our military age males for 2 decades,
Yeah.
fighting a war for 2 decades, and then pulling out just as fast as like we were about to bust a nut and just disappear? I mean, what are your thoughts on the way all that went down?
So it's funny you mentioned that because I just had a conversation with my cousin this weekend. So I have a son. One of my sons, my oldest son, is 17. Okay, and he has a son who is also born at the same time as my. We're cousins. We're both only children, so we're like brothers, right? So
Mm-hmm.
And he had a son as well, and they're the same age. They're both 17.
Mm-hmm.
And they were talking about like what's going to happen. This is a senior year, college, stuff like that. And I said what's mostly on my mind is that they're military age, and we're really in this turmoil. They're like, huh, we never thought of that. Like, you
Mm.
never thought of that. Like, you better think of that. They're at that
Yeah.
age. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
And if we do end up there, a draft is highly likely.
so this is the point I'm getting to. My cousin's wife said, well, it's not like they can ever have a draft nowadays. That'll never fly. You're wrong. You're
Yeah.
absolutely wrong. And if you pay attention to what's going on, to me, again, bells go off, right? They can't, they're bad in recruitment, which is another whole topic here, okay, of why, okay? But their recruitment numbers are way off. Nobody's meeting it except the Marine Corps just meeting theirs, okay? But they've been way off. They've a lot of their most well-trained people left during the pandemic over being forced to do shit. Okay, I don't want to
Mm-hmm.
say it here. Okay, and then obviously their recruitment videos now are, all about transgenderism. Okay, they're
Yeah.
all over the place, advocating for this and highlighting those soldiers as heroes, and you should be like them, and this is why you should join. Well, the people that join the military, that's kind of not what draws them in. I don't know if that's a secret that maybe these generals don't know, but that's not. That's why you're having so many recruitment issues.
Or
Okay,
maybe it's by design, right? Maybe they
so
purposefully don't want
so
those
yeah,
numbers.
so yes, obviously, I believe that 100%. You go into the Marine Corps, the first few minutes you're there, you get off the bus and you step on these yellow footprints, and a drill instructor tells you right out, from this moment on, you are not I. You will not use the word you. You are not your name. You are this recruit, that recruit. Do you understand, sir? Yes, sir. So understand that what they do from the moment you get there through the entire time you're on Paris Island is strip you of all identity. That is the whole
Yeah.
point of boot camp, is to strip you of any human identity you think you have or believe you have. That needs to go away. And that is the same in the Marine Corps as in the Army, in the Navy, the Air Force. That's the point of boot camp, is to strip that identity and then rebuild you into what they want, right? And so
Yeah.
every branch is a little bit different. The Marine Corps, they want you to kill, right? That's their thing, right? They want,
Yeah.
but do it professionally.
True
Professionally,
reprogramming.
yes, but be
Yeah.
professional. And so, um, I sit here and I look at our current state, and I'm like, no wonder my son, and I have another son who's going to be a teenager this year, right? So he's right in that range too, right? And so
Mhm.
I sit here and I'm like, no wonder why neither one of them want to go into the military. It's like not even on their fucking radar. They're like, as my older one would say, fuck that noise.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I'm all set.
Well, it used to be a thing of honor and integrity, and it.
Well, I look at it from a family perspective. I'm the last one, you know.
Mm,
Like you go down the men in my family, it stops here, I guess. Um,
damn.
So anyway, I don't know. I mean, I am obviously deeply concerned, because if we don't have that, what do we have?
A withering military at one of the most dangerous points in history since 80 years ago.
Doc, like it's you if you start showing weakness, you know, I don't know. And I think that's what we're portraying out to the rest of the world. Who, by the way, we're so focused on the Russia Ukraine thing. Um, Please never forget, folks, that there are many, many, many countries and terrorist organizations that want to do us harm. Many.
Yeah.
And many, not one, not two, dozens and dozens and dozens want to do us harm. That has not changed. And now we open our border. we take all our internal surveillance and we turn it on the American person, right? The American citizen, and not on these cells and organizations that could be doing this to us. We open our border, we weaken our military. What are we going to expect is going to happen?
Yeah.
I mean,
And all those dangerous people from other countries, they would not have a difficult time coming in from, South America,
anywhere,
Central America,
anywhere,
Canada.
anywhere,
I mean, I was watching this
anywhere.
thing where it was a comedian and he was talking about like, man, like going through borders is just the most like hellacious, difficult thing. But he was like, when I came through Canada, they were like, welcome, give me a kiss on my cheek and just let me walk walk right in. Like the Canada American border is different from what I understand. So
Yeah.
you never know, I mean,
So Mike McClune just brought up China. He's right, but I mean, it's like you know, uh, a couple months ago, they're flying these fucking balloons over our nuclear sites, right? We let it go the entire country, taking all the fucking photographs it wants, right? And then today, they say the Chinese hackers hacked into our commerce secretary, used to be the governor of the state, go figure, right? But hacked into the emails, and we got yelling over there, bowing to them. Yes, 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 yes. What the fuck are we doing? What the fuck are you doing? Why are you over there?
dude,
You know?
it's beyond me. It's I can't even understand it unless it is pure intentional destruction, and that's kind of what it's been
Well,
seeming
it's
like.
selfishness and it's money. That's what it is. They don't. They, the the what we understand about history and how we got here. Those men that fought at that time were wealthy men. They had, like they were successful men, when you read their stories,
Mhm.
and they said, you know what? I'm giving all this up because freedom's more important than anything.
Yeah,
And they knew that when they went, against the rule and when they stood out and that they were going to be, I put that story out, by the way. If you go into the builders group, you can read it, but you can
dude, I
see
love
their
that.
journey, I mean, their families were murdered. They were murdered. They were tortured,
On
you
the
know,
run.
for doing it. And they didn't have to,
Yeah,
But we live
yeah.
in such a selfish world now where it's just not happening, And I think like what we experience with the censorship and the censorship industrial complex that's happening,
Mhm.
a lot of that is also stemming from the alphabet agencies. So understand this, some of it is by design, yes, but some of it is just really poor policy. They're saying to them, yeah, you got a $75,000 a year job here as an agent in what XYZ agency you're at. Okay.
Mhm.
And here's the thing. We got to pay for a performance incentive program we're going to give out because we're fucking smart corporation, like fucking regular businesses. We're not a law enforcement agency, right? We're going to be like one of these fucking businesses. And so for every case you open up, we're going to give you, for every case you open up, we're going to give you an incentive pay boost. So what the fuck are you going to do as an agent? Oh, I'm going to open up a case on you, on you, on you, on you. I just got to open it,
Is
right?
that are they bonusing
Oh, the
people?
pay for performance model is enormous in these agencies, right?
What?
Right. So, like Joe or Jane agent there is getting paid to open up all these cases. There's an incentive on top of it. So of course they're going to.
So
Look at the
not about the outcome, just about
no,
simply opening cases.
just fucking get a FISA warrant on them.
Jesus. I guess that's how I ended up on a government watch list because
Right. Yeah.
I apparently I had no idea that it was a thing, but I'm apparently on a government watch list that says I'm not allowed to bid on government contracts. I'm like,
Uh,
what? I've never had a federal job. I've never bid on government contracts. I've never been involved with a company that bid on government contracts.
mhm.
But somehow when Crump and I were having a conversation, right? And I was like, basically challenging him. I was like, You can't find my real info. And even if you do, it's not maybe I shouldn't say all this out loud, but I was like, it'll be limited, right? It won't be the
Mhm.
right number, won't be the right address, won't be the right, blah, blah, blah. You get close, but just enough to give me enough time. And look, I'm not hiding from the feds. I'm not,
Yeah.
look, I literally put my social security number into YouTube for a channel, right? Like it's boom, that's done, right? So clearly, for all the Fed boys out there, I'm not hiding from the feds. Like, come on. But anyway, um, and he pulled me up and he was like, "No, dude, you're literally on a government watch list." I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
I don't know. Personally, I think it was probably an error as opposed
It's
to,
not an error. What do you mean? It's not an error.
bid
You're
on
out here
government
talking about
contracts.
this stuff, huh?
To bid on government contracts. I thought
Well,
I'd be on a way cooler watch list, like,
oh, I
you
don't
know.
know. Try to do other government services. Try to pay your taxes online, see what happens. See if they allow you to do
Oh yeah, I don't think I can do
it.
that.
Try to see, yeah, or you get blocked.
It said I had to contact the IRS. Like
Yeah,
I literally had
yeah,
to call
yeah.
them.
So these things are all tied together, my friend.
Damn,
You know,
MGB, how'd you know
so
that?
go apply for a new EIN and see if you can do it online or you have to go through a different process.
Oh shit.
Or,
Damn.
look, it's it's why we do what we do, right? Train, get your knowledge up, get your skills up, stay informed, love the shit out of your family, stay off of fucking social media, man.
Yeah, yeah,
When you said earlier though, like about the folks that are here, it's the same folks every week. Good for you guys, right?
yeah,
Good for you guys, because at least you're in a place where you're consuming the information that's really important for you to consume.
yeah,
Um, I think that's a lot of it too. So much of the world is
yeah.
distracted.
Well, I mean, I think part of it is we've had this world built around us of, going from, I don't know, like when I was growing up, having a large number of like brothers and sisters, we didn't have like all the bullshit. Like Flying Rich and I were talking about this the other day. We were like, we didn't know who was rich and who was, well, obviously some families around us were like, okay, they're wealthy, right? But like
Yep.
for the most part, we could have been the richest kids on the block, and I had no
Mhm.
idea. Like we
Right.
had shoes to put on in the morning, right? We had food and all that, but like I'm looking back, like I was pretty poor, but we didn't have, with a family that big and us focusing on surviving and growth, right? Like we didn't have all the bullshit, stupid distractions that we have nowadays, and part of that is because we're trapped in this cycle of consumerism and convenience and everything being. I mean, like chicks don't even need to go to the fucking grocery store anymore, right? Someone else does that for you for a fee, right? Like people don't even go out to eat anymore. They get shit delivered to them. They don't, it's click, 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 boom, done, right? And it's almost like sickening where everything, all of the work is taken out of life, right? And I can only see that the consumerism and convenience, it has softened up our country to the point where like there are people that are just so offended for other people, right? They're so soft and so sensitive that they're offended for other people
Yeah.
because they're just fucking bored or something. I don't know, right? But
Yeah.
like it was the same thing with all the white people in the streets yelling BLM, like,
Yeah.
bro, come on, man. And
Right.
and of course they don't know that BLM is funded by the Democratic Socialists of America and that they're paid
Right.
by all these NGOs. And if you look at the states and cities where all the riots happen, they all have DSA locations
Yeah.
there, and they were all paying, the rent and mortgages of a lot of the protesters. It's crazy, and bailing them out of jail. It's
Right.
nuts. But I think all this free time and all the lack of the exertion of energy trying to survive and thrive, and maybe a piece of that is the changes in technology that we've come to this place, and this is a self-inflicted punishment, as a negative outcome, like on accident, of us living in this life of consumerism and convenience.
we're incredibly fortunate to live at this time. You know,
Yeah.
we are incredibly fortunate. You know, we are fat and happy Americans.
Yeah.
There's some truth to that. Okay, but we were talking earlier about Gen Z coming up and they're changing, and so right now you got the cusp kids, right? The last of the millennials and the older Gen Z. That's the going into college, coming out of
Hmm.
college right now, right? That bottom half of the millennials, like you're probably an older millennial, right?
Hmm.
And then the upper echelon of the first Gen Zers. And they're coming out of school and they're like, we were fucking lied to. You told us to go do this, go do that, go do this, and this would be the result. And I'm out of college and I'm deep in fucking debt, and houses cost $500,000 for a 1 bedroom.
Yeah.
How the fuck am I going to pay for this on a $30,000 a year job at a 3% raise when you're raising the tax? They're figuring it out that they've been lied to, but the problem is they're
Yeah.
25 years old by the time they're figuring it the fuck out that you were
Yeah.
lied to, you know? And so there's resentment, deep resentment. And I think that's a lot of what you're seeing with the student loans too. There is deep resentment towards being lied to. And that's why they've made it Biden's problem. And he's not able to deliver on that. I think he's going to suffer from that
Yeah.
personally, you know. But that resentment is all them. They have been preaching that message, you know, because you know that's the message that's been fed to a generation. And up until this generation, they're the ones who are finally saying, this doesn't work. And you made me waste a lot of fucking time, and I'm mad, you
Yeah.
know. So and it doesn't work. You know that. You're better, you know, you would go to fucking college to be a fucking liberal arts or a fucking social worker, you know, a fucking try to find a plumber. A plumber who shows up or an electrician who shows up can
On
ask
time.
whatever they want an hour. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? You can ask whatever you want,
Yeah.
you know. Uh Guys make bank, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, nowadays, if you're not making, if you're not grossing 100K, I don't know how you're living. And guys, coming from a person who, I'll at least say this, has closely studied the national situation that we're in from a real estate standpoint, and looking at real estate inventory and looking at every single person who's had the lifelong goal of purchasing a home, purchasing their own property, you don't want to know what has to happen in our country for homes to be affordable again. Okay?
Oh
Homes
my
that I
God.
was looking at purchasing for, 320K, which out here is dirt cheap. In Virginia, 320K is nothing. It is the cheapest you can go, right? Those homes now, 3, 5 years later, whatever, are going for 5, 600, $700,000. Homes where I'm at right now, where I'm renting, are going for over $1 million. This shit
Yeah.
is insane. For us to get to the point where we would have to be to bring affordability back in, and ask yourself this question, right? If something usually goes, so let's use a double cheeseburger from McDonald's for an example. That shit used to be 99 cents. It was $1.05 to get a double cheeseburger. Well, then they started charging, $1.50, and they started charging $1.79. And they started charging $2. Now it's like 2.59 or whatever it is. Do you think they'll ever move backwards from charging 2.59 ever?
They can't
No, because
because
they
the
know,
banks will go bankrupt if you
yeah,
do.
they either actually can't, or they know that they can sell it for that amount or even more, right? So even if they're just pulling pure profit and just being dogs, right? Which, I mean, whatever, they know that they can sell it for that amount. It's the same thing. Yeah, the markets will fluctuate, right? But the amount of the amount of inventory that would need to increase in real estate would need to be like thousands, like 10,000 fold. Okay. We'd have to increase inventory by like 10,000 fold. Okay. And then we would have to increase unemployment by 500 to 700%. So many people would have to lose their jobs to pull them out of the need of purchasing a home. Like, this would cause massive wreckage within our country.
Which I think is what they're intentionally trying to do.
Look at all the people and companies in other
This
countries.
isn't a theory. This isn't a conspiracy. It's what I believe. Okay, it's what I believe. I've been here before. I've seen this. I've seen this before
Yeah.
when banks write because these houses are selling at this price. You know why? Because banks are writing the mortgage for it. Banks appraisers are going out and saying, "Yup, this house is worth 1.2 million."
Yeah.
You know, this one bedroom studio apartment in New York where the crime rate is fucking 50-50 whether you die today is worth 1.2 million. You know, and so banks are their appraisers that work for them, right? Are saying, yes, these are the comps in this area, and this is what houses should go for. These are the banks that are controlling that.
Yeah.
Okay, they're appraising because the banks could easily appraise markets differently, but they are inflating this to write these big mortgages so that they can do what? Get another big payday, have everybody default, right? The
Yeah.
market crashes, everybody defaults. You have to, or the banks close and everybody's affected,
2008 v 2.0.
right? You know,
Different issue, but same outcome.
do you know how much money those banks made in that?
Oh,
With that those bailouts were enormous, right?
yeah.
And do you remember how bad it got? That they got all those bailouts, and what happened? What was the big stories? The CEOs were all taking 10, $20 million bonuses for everybody. Look at the government gave us all this money back when we fucked up. That
Yeah.
was all planned, dude. Right at the time of a transition when Obama came in, it was right at the moment he transitioned. And it
So
was all done intentionally. And so you cannot tell me reasonable people, we're reasonable people, that professional bankers and appraisers are walking in and saying this house is worth 800,000. Are you out of your fucking mind?
oh, for
When the
sure.
average person coming out of school is making 30, 50, even if they make 100,000, they can never afford an $800,000 house, which is a
Absolutely.
standard house in a cookie cutter neighborhood.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They
Yep.
can't. There's no way. No kid will ever. My kids, your kids, everybody in here that has kids, your kids will never own a house if it stays like this. But it won't. They're going to
Unless
crash it.
yeah.
Everybody's going to take their payday, and we have another reset.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, once I saw the amount of wreckage that would have to take place to normalize, and yet somebody said 7-year cycles, that's typically true when you look at the, last 2 centuries of real estate, right? It's kinda moved to, like, 10-year cycles, but really, we've been riding, like, a 15-year high. I mean, looking at the volume that homes have been going for over the last 15 years has just climbed to just an unbelievable amount. It's crazy.
And it will again. Listen, Doc, they'll crash it. You spend 2, 3 years and like, we got to resort property, go through this, go through that. How the defaults work, who's got bankruptcy, work our titles 2 or 3 years. Well, we already got the big payday, right? And then we start
Mhm.
inflating again over time, right? So it's the natural cycle. Boom, drop the market, flush everybody out, right? Because if you think about markets, right? You think about we think about trading, and you ever watch a trading chart, right? A trading
Mhm.
chart is really just that, right? It's ticking, it's ticking, it's ticking. Boom, flush everybody out. Start to come up, start to come up, start to come up. Boom, flush them out, right? It's this constant flushing people out because when the players make the move, they don't want any other participants in the market, right? They don't move the market until they have control of it. All markets, whether it's financial markets or it's real estate markets, the people that are there, they want as less people participating at the time they make their move because they don't want any competition. You understand what I mean? So they'll drop, flush, 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 flush. And once they flushed everybody out and there's no participants in the market, that's where they'll consume and move up, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good point. Frag out. What's up, brother? Good to see you. Only way anyone will be adding more land is by force after the shit hits the fan. Yeah, have a good one. Good seeing you, bro. Take it easy. Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting perspective, I guess. You know, only looking at and only understanding what happened from '06 to '07 and then '07 to '08. That just from a personal experience, that's like all I have to relate it to. But um, I'm not saying obviously, guys, that real estate is not a good investment because long term, real estate will always be a good investment, depending on when you sell. And then a good time to sell is never a good time to buy. It's a game. It's a
Yeah.
game. Um, Now going on to a different topic, and we can close out soon here. I'm sure you got to go night night. You got stuff to do. You got kids and stuff. Um, I don't think we've ever talked like about like out of all like let's say Glocks, right? Well, before we go there, what's your favorite firearm to build?
Well, I mean, I love to build a Glock. Obviously, that's my, that for me changed, well, my life too, right? Like from our focus too. And I
Mhm,
often say, what made our gun building community big is that we've been building guns. We've been doing this stuff for a long time, okay,
mhm.
and online, in home gunsmithing forums as well. And so, but what Polymer 80 did was they took America's most popular gun, which is the Glock, right? It's the best-selling gun in America, and
Yeah.
they made that buildable. You know what I mean? So that's like I think sometimes the other side looks at this and they're like, Palm 80's a fucking nightmare. It's like, no, we've been doing this a long time. But yes, they
Yeah.
made it popular, not because they made it popular. Well, they did, but what they did was they just took the number one selling firearm and made it buildable.
Yeah, yeah,
Do you know what I'm
and
saying?
they made it entry level if you will.
Right, right. The average person can build a Glock.
Because
Okay.
before all this, it was build parties, it was back
Oh,
then, I used
yeah.
to say I was
Every
doing
gun store on the block, we would have build parties, of course. Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, there wasn't any of this nonsense, where you
yeah.
can't do this and tools and all this other bullshit. Like,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah, that bullshit where you gotta
you
buy
know.
tools from your friend and then they sell it back to you, that's ridiculous. But, like,
So
I for the longest time, I was buying lowers, right? Assembling them and being like, "Oh, I built this," not really understanding that, like, well, no, like, Dark, you assembled it, but you you didn't build it,
right,
you know?
right, yeah, and you see that a lot in the AR world too. They're like, I built an AR. It's like, well, no, you bought a lower and that was already milled, and you bought a whole bunch of strike parts.
Yeah, yeah,
you
you
know,
couldn't do that.
but to
Or the
each their
ones
own.
that buy
Listen,
a
listen, and
complete
listen,
one and then
listen.
change the parts, you know?
Yeah, anybody taking the independence into their own hand gets an applaud from me,
Yeah.
and doing it yourself. Because even just through assembly, you learn a ton. How many
Oh, yeah.
times have we seen Glock armorers come into our community with questions? I mean, enormous amounts of times, right?
Yeah.
And so, and people who are not Glock armorers are answering the questions for Glock armorers,
Shit, I
right?
took an armorer's course and I hit you up with a question
Yeah,
about the direction of the pins. I was like, "Hold up, man. I
right.
keep hearing right to left and left to right,"
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, so I mean, look, I think that the availability that Polymer 80 came out with too, like with all the different things, like the CL was my favorite frame.
Mm,
I had felt that Glock really, got it wrong with the 19X, but they've got great marketing. So, they pay a whole bunch of people to say it's fucking wonderful. But the reality is that, I
that
believe that the
you need to switch
CL
it.
was the better of the two. So I really enjoyed that build, and I still have uh, those laying around for someday for the museum.
Yeah. I got a
um,
little museum. Dude,
yep.
I honestly they should do like a 17X, right? And do a 17 slide with a 19 grip.
So yes, um, you know, the I think now that, well, we're gonna have to see how this industry plays out, right? Because right now they're offering all their models again. Well, the 9SS, the 17, the 19. They've got the 45 still out there. Thank you, come out and play, man. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that,
Damn.
buddy.
$9.99 super
I'm
chat.
glad
Thank
you're
you, brother.
addicted too. Yeah.
You're truly a hero to the
All
home
right.
building movement, MGB, and I'm glad you got me addicted back in the
It
day.
is a great it's a great hobby, you know. I had a student say to me this week, and I thought it was great, you know. So he's in his upper 50s, and he said, you know, he's been following me for years, and he said, I love to build more than I love to shoot now that I'm old. I just want to build until I die. Like, I don't even care if I shoot anymore. I just want to, you know, because he's spent his whole life shooting, right? He's like, I just love this. And, you know, and
Yep.
so but I think that's a sentiment that you get to somewhere along those lines where you're like, you know how many guns I've actually built that I didn't even shoot, you know,
Bro.
because it's like,
Yep.
I can't shoot them all, you know? So, like you and the ideas never end. Like
But
they're
I
always,
promise
you
you,
know,
they'll function though.
yo,
I
yeah, first time.
promise.
Yeah, no doubt about it. No
Yeah.
doubt about that. But you know, I think that's one of the things that people love is not just the skill set, but it's their creation. You know, they're really it's like so hard to find even two that are alike. There's always something different. Everybody's got a different take on it. And to see their visions come to life is amazing. You know, I mean, there's an immense
Yeah.
joy here in this hobby. You know, I don't want to call it a hobby. I call it a lifestyle. You
Yep.
know, it's a lifestyle like that. Once we're in it, we're in it. You know, and it's a joyous one, and it should be celebrated. And you know, we do. I mean, we celebrate it every chance we get. You
Yep.
know, we're all about that. And people love to show off their creations too. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so I think that that's probably the biggest draw for me is to see the energy. Like probably my favorite part of this entire ordeal is knowing that I made people really happy through
Yeah.
this. You know, I gave them actual joy by giving them some lessons. Like they've created, you know, not just the firearm, not just the Second Amendment stuff, but they've truly have something that they value and appreciate.
Oh yeah.
And I helped in that. You know.
100%. And even me, like, what I learned from you in your videos and what I took from, all different people within the building community. I mean, of course, there's a massive creativity aspect of it when you're looking at like, okay, the frame, well, which color frame, right? And do I dye it, paint it, or do whatever to it, right? And then I know I'm going to be tolerant stacking. So what am I getting for slide and barrel and magwell
Mhm.
and what LPK am I going to get? What slide parts kit and all? Should I try out these parts? What sights should I get? I mean, you can really go nuts and
Yeah.
I the things that I took away from you and learned from, mostly from you, honestly, really got me through a very challenging time when I was able to, put it into an outlet like during 2019, 2020 when we started to have all the COVID craziness and all that and,
Yeah.
shutdowns, lockdowns, losing my job and all that. It was like, man, I can I got all these parts and all this shit like hoarded away. I can start going to work on stuff, and actually doing something creative that also was, focused on freedom and independence and,
Yeah.
at least being free up here if I
Right.
can't be free right here.
Right.
So I love
And you
that.
know, you think about going through that process, no matter what happens to that gun, you know it inside, outside, and backwards, upside down. You know, like
Yeah.
you'll always be able to fix it yourself. You know, you nobody in our community will ever have to go to a gunsmith and pay
Yeah.
to have something
Facts.
fixed. You know, which I thought it was one of those funny things, like where they put into their little rule there that if a gun store takes in an unserialized polymer 80 frame, they're going to have to log it into the book. I'm thinking to myself, these are fucking builders. Nobody's
Yeah.
taking that shit in to a gun store. What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. It's crazy.
the gun store is more likely to call the builder and ask for advice on how to fix something.
100%, man. That's you learn it all, man.
Yeah.
You learn it all. I mean, dude,
Thank you, brother Rich. Love you,
hell yeah,
brother
man.
Rich.
Yeah,
Thank you,
Rich
man.
Rich is awesome.
So
Thank you for
happy
the
we
super chat.
connected. So
Yeah, I
happy.
mean, think of what's happened and thank you again, Rich, man. You're the man. Think like all of us, like, we all solo independent people. I remember the last live stream that you did before everything was pulled off of the world of the internet, right?
Yep.
In the last, like, 30 seconds, you were like, "DLD, my guy, yeah, we definitely need
I
to do a
know.
show together. We definitely need." And I was like, "Yes, I finally got his attention. Yeah, I'm finally gonna get him on the show." And then, like, poof, all the bullshit happened, right? But, like, us as independent, whatever you wanna call it, content creators, I just look at it as I'm a guy that comes on and talks here and there. But, like, me, you, Angry Sarge, Shogun,
Yeah.
Benchies, Flying Rich, all these people just like totally separate in isolation of each other, connected for something better to focus on, continuing the tradition of just pushing freedom and independence and the preservation of our natural rights. Like that shit's
Right.
fucking beautiful, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And understand that we get dragged into this fucking stuff. We don't want to get dragged into this fucking political shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
This was their choice.
Yeah.
I,
Thank
I
you, brother.
wouldn't
Tech's
be
been an old school builder with me, man. He's been for years. For years, he's been part of this community. Yep.
tech
Absolutely, my friend.
Tech, you may have even built from, some black boxes back in the day, you know?
Yeah.
You never know.
Definitely a
But
black box member right there. He deserves it
hey,
for
there we
sure.
go.
Yep.
Yeah, Tech is the man. He's been around for a minute. And all the people, like, all the viewers that have connected between, like, people that came from you and people that came from other people, cross-pollinating to all of our little cliques.
Yeah.
It's so cool to, to I don't know, just to have the community that we do.
I'm going to tell you a quick story too. One when I went out, so there's like a big farm out here where people take their family out and they, pick apples and all sorts of shit, right? In the
Yeah,
fall, right? It's like every type of apple you can imagine. This farm's got trees for fucking acres and acres of different apple trees, obviously, right? So
that's
anyway,
awesome.
it's a big thing up here that people take their kids apple picking. So I'm taking my family up to the farm, and we're parking and we're walking, and there's massive amounts of people, that come with their families for this event.
Mhm.
And we're in the parking lot, and we're walking. My little one's on top of my head, the other two around me. My wife's with me, and um, this little girl comes up to me and says, "Are you MGB?"
What?
And she was a little kid, and she's with her dad, and he's like, Are you really him?" And I said, "I." And he's like, "Are you a Marine gun builder?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh my God, I knew you lived in the state. I didn't think I would ever meet you." Right?
Huh.
And I was just telling my daughter, you know how you watch people on YouTube? I watch that guy on YouTube all the time.
Yeah.
And so anyway, we ended up having this great conversation, and we took some pictures and stuff like that. And the moral of the story is I get a lot of letters and stuff of people from people, okay?
Mhm.
And it's great. But every now and then I actually run into people live, and, like, you could see in his expression, he was like, "And I built this, and I built that, and I built this, and I'm gonna build this, and what do you think about that?" And he was so enthusiastic,
Yeah.
you know? And and you could just see the joy, and, like, I can't see you on the other
Yeah.
side of the screen, you know what I mean? Like, it's hard. So when you actually see it in people, it's pretty magical, you
It's
know?
awesome. It's awesome, man. Yeah, I've only felt that a few times, but man, that's the coolest shit in the world. Now,
Yeah,
I unfortunately didn't get to, you know, focus on as much of the building stuff before, like YouTube and everything kind of went nuts. But the coolest thing is like there's been a few times where, I've had people reach out to me on like Instagram and shit like that. And they've been like, dude, I've always been in shooting. I've always been kind of assembling my own stuff. But like seeing, the show, your guests and all this and like your focus on building and following everything going on and all that, like it like you got me into building. And I've only heard that a couple times, a few
yeah,
times maybe. And that was like that just hearing that a few times means that those few people, because I always say, once you learn it, then you go teach, you
right,
do with others, right? And
yeah,
and you keep sharing that. It's so fulfilling, man.
yeah, yeah. And I think our goal, like, the things that we're working on is helping as many people come up as possible. You know, even in
Yeah.
the feed tonight, you have people in here like Goonbeam, you know, trying to get his shit out there, and we
Yeah.
need to help him get his shit out there because he's got good shit,
Mhm. Yep.
right? We need to help him. You got a couple others in here too that I saw, same thing, you know. Yeah, we got to help those people, you know. They're they probably don't even realize they got shadow banned accounts. They just think it's really hard.
Yeah.
And some of
Yeah.
it is hard, but some of it is, you know what? Once they start doing that, it's tough to get fucking going. You know, you
Yeah.
need the bigger people to give you a boost. You really do,
Yeah.
to get your word out there. So, you know, and I think that's where collaboration really comes into it as well, because it's allowing you to put your name out there. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Very true. Yeah, I remember when I went to SHOT Show, I was talking to Rich and Crump and all those guys, and I was like, dude, I'm not thinking like I'm gonna come to this place and people are gonna be like, "Oh my god, that's dark," you know. Like I just literally the moment I walked up to the front doors at SHOT Show, I was FaceTiming with my daughter, and somebody was like, "Are you dark?" I was like, "No fucking way. This is a
Yeah.
joke, right?" And it was just a viewer, and who I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know, he may be out there
Yeah.
now. He's like, "Dude, I watch your show all the time. Every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. I'm always on. I'm
Yeah.
always." It's just cool as shit, man. That kind
Yeah.
of feeling, like, that's
Yeah.
important. And a lot of times when you get discouraged by being squashed, by being stomped on, by being throttled and shadow banned and whatever, right? Strikes and just it was 46 days and 9 hours that I didn't live stream, okay? That shit killed me. It was so difficult, you know, and I had to be strategic with the way that I worked with, this platform, but man, it's worth it to come back and, you know, be with all you guys and having people like that bump into me in real life and be like, "Yo, like, I fuck with your channel hard. You're a good
Yeah.
dude. Love your guests, your interviews, and all that." It was
Well,
cool, man.
because they're in the lifestyle too, you know, they're in the lifestyle. I mean, again, what do you think we watch? We watch each other's shit.
Yeah.
We're
Yep.
like, you know, I'm not gonna go fucking watch the news. You know,
Yeah.
I'm like, let me see what
100.
Dark's Live was last night. Let me see what this was, right? I mean, this is what we do. And I would say also, to those people that, you know, at any time you ever want to come into this industry, we will advocate and help you come in. You
Yep.
know, we need as many voices as possible. And I recognize that like this format isn't for everybody, but maybe you write well, you know, maybe you got a great social media account, you know, that you post things to and you need us to call it out or shout it out. Again, or maybe you write, or you know, you want to write some things and we can publish things to blogs for you, or
Mhm.
you want to just help out in any way possible. The door is always open for you. You
Yep.
know, again, we need as much support from our patriots, and help them advocate to as wide as they want to as well. You know, because we
Yeah.
are just one big family. We're small again compared to the bigger firearms industry and what's going on. The home building community is very small.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, big
They
time.
make us
Very.
out to be this fucking wide-ranging, fucking terrible thing, but it is not.
It's because of all of their lies, right? Them taking factory OEM Glocks with obliterated serial numbers, saying that those are ghost guns and
Yeah,
all the bullshit that they do. You know,
yeah,
they're playing games. It's this massive tidal wave of crime just washing over the United. Get the fuck out of here, man! That's
yeah,
crazy shit.
stupid.
Now what about carry guns? What are your go-to like carry guns?
So, I'm gonna be careful about that because of some of the laws that are here. But if I were to carry,
If you were to, you know, obviously, I know you only follow all of the laws, but
yes, if I
if
were
were
to if I were to carry, it would be a G43 in the summer and a Glock 19 in the winter.
nice, good choice. Now, would you
It's
rock OEM or built?
so
Okay.
both. All of my frames are serialized, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, gotcha, gotcha. Now, have you been able to get your hands on the new Strike light slide, the 43 light slide?
Well, it's funny you should mention that because I was the first person that got the Strike 19 light slide when it came out. But I heard somebody else has taken my spot and gotten the first 43 out of the
Hey,
gate. which I got to say in all the pictures looks really sexy.
Dude, it is gorgeous, man.
Yeah, it looks really nice.
It pops differently, man. But hold on. I heard that you may have an arc slide.
I do have an arc side, yes.
Then you can't complain about a goddamn
I
thing, all
do have
right?
an
You
arc side, yeah. Yeah.
you got like the golden unicorn of
I'm a
trunk
collector.
slides. Yeah,
So you have to understand that I am a collector, So
yeah.
for me, it's you know, um being a builder also means freedom.
Mhm.
Like say all my guns were taken away from me or they weren't here or I was
Mhm.
somewhere else. I found myself distance and not near my guns. I could literally walk in certain stores and have a gun built in under an hour because of
Yeah.
knowledge. So I'm never you can't take that away.
Yep.
You understand what I mean? So there's that, right? Like there's that sense of freedom as well. So I don't know how we get onto that, but anyway, so I'm a collector, right? So for
Yeah.
me, it's really about history. I love the history of it. Obviously, if you
Mhm.
guys ever want to have a really fun class, you could take the gun builder safety class.
Oh, yeah.
And I go into really deep history of gunsmithing, gun building, and gun armoring, and how they've transitioned. And again, I am a student of the history of this
Yeah.
stuff. That's what I love to read about. That's what I love to learn about. That's what I love to educate about. Unfortunately, nobody ever wants to talk about safety. That's just the
That's
truth. That's the
yeah,
truth.
very true. And you can see it in like all these Reddit posts where dudes are like in their
Mhm.
car trying to slam in a 9 mil round live ammunition
Yeah,
into their, brand new build. Like, oh my God, like
I
get some
know.
snap caps.
I know.
With you talking about history, the oldest gun I have, I don't think I've ever told you this.
No.
My great great grandfather carried an 1851 Colt Navy revolver in the Civil War,
Wow.
and he carried it and used it. So there's probably some ghosts on that mofo. But my grandfather, when he passed away, he passed that down to me, and he also passed down a little, like I think it's a 1912 32 Smith and Wesson top break. A little, I mean, the thing probably wouldn't fire. The timing
Yeah.
is all jacked up. But there actually was, when my grandparents both passed away, there was a pearl handled single action 22 LR that just went missing,
And
gone forever. So,
sounds like
and it
a
was,
family member scoops that up.
yeah, especially when it was pre
Yeah.
68. So
Yeah.
no serial
Yeah.
numbers on that mention.
Right. With the
But the
pearl
Colt has a serial number on every single
part.
P yeah,
Yeah.
everything,
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
So it's just cool. Like that history in your hand is like, whoa, man, it's crazy.
And it's a piece of history, but it's a piece of your family too.
Yeah,
It's an heirloom, and it's yeah. And just like your stuff someday will be that.
yeah.
You
And that's
know.
why I have not sold a gun in, oh,
Yeah.
God knows how long. Benchies, did you just drop a quote from the theatrical masterpiece Pineapple Express? If you did, man, you and I, we're connected up here, bro.
Speaking of which, if you want to get into 3D printing, he has the most popular class right now on Freedom Crew University, and it's free. But if you go to the self-paced section, Benchies has the intro to 3D printing. It's a self-paced, so it's to do it on your own time. You can stop and come back whenever you want. Just go into the self-paced section. It's called Intro to 3D. He does it, and it is. And people have been raving about it. People have been
Yeah,
raving about it.
it is
They love him.
actually
They love
the
him.
you said it is actually the, like, he's not joking, guys, it is the most popular class right now.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah,
It
that's
is.
awesome. Well, anything else you wanna leave with these, beautiful people before we,
Oh
cut it?
man, thank you for having me on tonight. It's been an exciting year, man. I'm really looking forward to us moving forward. We didn't even get to really talk about Vanderstock tonight, so I'm gonna
I
have to
know,
we
I
have to
know.
schedule another time to come in. But this is what happens, right? We stop bullshitting, and
Yeah,
you
That
know,
that's the beautiful thing, man. Like, every time you
yeah,
come on, I know we're gonna have a great conversation. I know
sure.
it's gonna go all over the place, and it is hard. You know, not to get
Thank
into a
you,
whole new
Kurt.
topic, because I know, like, we could talk on just Vanderstock alone for hours, but the reality is, like, I know all of us are running around like, "Man, this is a win, this is a win, this is a win," and it is, and I don't wanna take that from us, the community, or anyone, or the amount of time, energy, and money that went into this, but it's also like, I if a thief was starting to, like, sneak in your home, or, like, reach his arm in your kitchen window to steal a pie, and right before he grabbed the pie, you smacked his hand, and he was like, "Ah!" and then ran away. Is that a win? Right?
Yeah.
We just didn't lose something because we fought back, right? We didn't gain anything, we just didn't lose something, so it's hard, and this is the dangerous place that we end up in when we allow, really, this crazy shit to go on, so I don't know, I'm in a kind of a mixed feelings, kinda place with that one.
All right. I'm gonna say you're at where you're at.
Yeah, yeah.
At, the word at, right?
Oh,
At. You're at where you're at because of
y
what you allow
and
and what you
tolerate.
tolerate, right?
Yeah,
So if you don't like where you're at, you got to ask yourself, what did we allow and what did we tolerate? And I agree with what your sentiment is 100%. We didn't win a damn thing. We didn't.
yeah.
We lost something and then just got it back. But
For a
we didn't
year.
gain anything. We didn't win anything, you know. And they're like, oh, well, we put the ATF in their place and now they know they can't do this. Get the fuck out of here. It's whatever
Yeah,
the fuck they want. When they want to do it, they'll just find a different way to do it, or they'll
yeah,
change some wording or do something different. But if you fucking believe that this isn't going to happen again, or they all of a sudden going to stop,
yeah, it's not over.
great.
It's not
No,
far
no,
from over.
no. Which is unfortunate because again, I always go back to why are you engaging with paid for organizations in the anti-gun lobby? Like that should not what you'd be doing as federal law enforcement. It's just it's wrong, you know. And what makes it even more wrong is never have they come and tried to work with our industry. Never,
Never.
never have they come and tried to really understand what it is. They think they know. They have no fucking idea.
Yeah.
You know, they don't.
They're
And so
taking cues from the people that
yeah,
know
and that's what really
the
bothers me,
least.
and those people are suing them too. Like,
Yeah,
you're literally in bed with a narcissist, you
yeah,
know? Like, you come after us, and then the fucking people who are telling you're telling your bosses through political payments to come after us are now fucking suing you, and guess what? How the fuck are they gonna win that one? Because they were
yeah,
suing them, saying the ATF didn't go far enough in their rule, but then a judge says you went too far and I'm vacating this rule. So what
yeah,
the fuck happens here? Like, it's a
yeah,
mess. Like, you're in bed with the wrong fucking people, man.
truly. I
You know,
honestly,
like
I
seriously.
if they actually took the time to sit down with, and they're supposed to, right? Nowadays, if you got an FFL, FFL stands for fucked for life. Like,
Yeah.
that's it's a very dangerous business to get into.
Why
But
would you want one?
yeah, it's, if I could go back, right? There's been so much paperwork I did, so many tax stamps I got, so many, just like all this shit that, like, I looked at it differently, right? And there was a time when in the firearms community, tax stamp, NFA items were, like, held on this pedestal that was like, "Oh, like, it's an
Yeah, right,
SBR. I'm not
right.
allowed to have that. I have to do that." And
Yeah,
they were, like, elevated and held up, and because of that, first off, I do everyone needs suppressors, right? Like, that,
yeah,
tactically speaking, those are remarkable tools that everyone should have access to, and they shouldn't be on the NFA, anyway, but anyway, yeah, I looking back, I would have absolutely done things differently.
yeah. I know that there's a lot going on with the FFLs now, and now there's the GOA is suing them as well, right, over
Mhm.
the FFL thing. And
Yeah.
you know, I it really needs to be fixed. You know, it needs to get settled once and for all. But like, I even think about, like, I remember Jordan from JSD telling a story about, like, when he was going through the process of getting his approval,
Mhm.
and he's trying to get approval for one of his 80%, right?
Mhm.
And they told him, oh, you need to become an FFL. It's like, why do I need to be an FFL? I'm not selling firearms, right? But like, they forced him to do it. And like, when he told that story, he was on a live telling it one day. The first thing that went through my mind is, because they want to be able to come search you whenever the fuck they want. They want to be able to come in unannounced and fucking ask you questions. So like, they're
Yep.
forcing you to do something, even though you shouldn't have to do it. And I mean, he did it because he's trying to get it through. But
Yeah.
these are the games they play. But let me give you another example of why I'm saying that. When they were up on that on testifying in front of the House, their little fucking puppet said, "Oh, these fucking guys that build guns think they're fucking gunsmiths. Give me a fucking break. They're fucking Lego makers. Give me a break."
Yeah.
Right? And totally dismissed what we do.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, and here's the thing. What's the definition of a gunsmith? According
Some
to the fucking ATF, it's a fee and you sign a piece of paper. No training, no safety, could have never held a fucking gun before, but as
Mhm.
long as you fill out a fucking piece of paper, pass a background check, and pay them their fee, they'll make you a fucking federally licensed gunsmith, even though you've never held a gun in your fucking life before. So get fucked. Seriously.
Yeah. That's
But
crazy.
it's these types of attacks that happen to people, and it's like, you guys gotta look in your own mirror, you know like, you don't know anything about this. You know nothing about it because you're ignorant to it and you only attack.
Yeah. Well, they're getting their information from the people that know literally the least about it, right? I would love for a room full of Moms Demand Action, Brady, every town,
Oh
whoever,
my
right?
God.
I would give every single one of them a kit and watch them try to build a working firearm, right? Like, these are the people that said the frame by itself, without the jig, without rails, without drill bits, without all that's a gun, right?
And
I mean,
without
come on.
guides.
Yeah, yeah, like, bro, come on. But yeah, it's the mess
Right.
that we end up in when people with no information are the ones giving the information, and then the government, they're in the business of collecting money, collecting fees, and issuing
Right.
licenses. So that's actual knowledge and information doesn't mean shit
I
nowadays.
agree.
It's
I agree.
terrible, terrible.
You know.
And Biden committed a felony on live
I
TV
know.
on that day
But
in
he
what,
can.
April,
Yeah,
when
he
he
can.
literally held up a
He
frame,
can.
a jig, the rails, the drill bits, the lower
In
parts
DC.
kit, the slide in Washington, DC. So I
Can
didn't
we just say
realize
at the
this.
White House has been a Coke and a ghost gun
It's a ghost gun and
at
cocaine
the White House
factory.
this year? This place is becoming too dangerous.
Yeah,
you
too
know?
dangerous. And men flashing their titties too. So
Uh,
it's becoming a very dangerous place. So we have to be cautious about that. But in the end, I'm sorry. In wrapping up, you were saying to build guns and fuck bitches and get money, something like that. What were you telling everyone?
yeah, I mean, yeah, that's the premise, right? That's, join a community, be with your brothers and sisters, and yeah, build guns, build lots of different, learn different types, not only of just guns, but of different platforms and how they work. What's the difference between a long range precision rifle and an AR-15 rifle, right? As compared to a shotgun, compared to a 1911 to a striker-fired pistol like a Glock or a SIG, right? And so, and just a revolver, which we don't do any revolvers, but we're probably going to have to go down that road. But learn the different mechanics of it. Take some classes, watch some videos. Like I said, a lot of them are free. Ask your questions. Go into 3D printing. Go into a different thing. Like, if you've already built a Glock, challenge yourself to the next step.
Yeah.
Like, push yourself to challenge to the next step. I'm guarantee you it's going to be rewarding. I think that, like, when it comes to Glock, people are like, okay, I build, you know, the 19, and then I'm like, okay, I got this now. You know, like I worked out some kinks and I fixed it and I tuned it, and now I got it working. Now I'm going to build a 17. So they build a 17, right? And then they're like,
Mhm.
okay, well, let me do the 26 because it's out there, or I'll do the 43 because it's out there. And now they're like, oh, wait a minute, I can use the same frame I did on the 19 and also build a 40 cal 23, right? So let me build a 23, right? Oh, maybe I want to do a 357 SIG, so I'll do you know, the 32, right?
Mhm.
So they start to go down different builds. So before you know it, they got, you know, a collection of 8, 9, 10 different Glock builds,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And all I'm saying is that's awesome. And but also spend some of that time, money, and budget to learn other platforms.
Yeah.
You can always come back to this, right?
Absolutely.
Always come
Yep.
back to this.
Yeah, and there is no limit of how many is enough, right? I'm about to hit a a number that kind of shocked me when I started doing a little inventory. I was like,
Yeah.
bro, I need no more polymer frame semi-automatic 9mm handguns. That's for sure.
I know, but then Strike comes out and drops a 43 slide, and you're like, all
I
right, I'll
know.
do another PF9SS. By the
I
way,
know.
you know what? I don't know how many people we got here.
Like 60.
60. All right. So here's the thing. Sometimes, so I'm a stickler about this stuff, right? People get tied up in the build stuff. The safety and the functionality of it is a core component, not just from safety, which is important, but from build knowledge. It's crucial. Okay. But I've realized that there's like basic stuff that sometimes people who built 3, 4, 5, 6 frames will then come to me and say something. And I'm like, you know, we got to go back to the foundation.
Yeah.
So little education. And I want you to be honest down here in the comments with me. Okay. I want you to be honest. If I said to you, what is PF940 SC mean? How many people can tell me what that means in the comments?
Can I say it? Or, no, I'm just kidding.
You, yeah, well, yeah, you can say it, but I want to know honestly, like when you hear the answer, did you know that's what that meant? Right? What is it?
So, from what I understand, I think it's either polymer frame or pistol frame 940 subcompact. It's the Glock 26 frame,
Yep, yep. So the first two PF is polymer frame.
polymer frame. Yeah.
Okay. And then the numbers are going to be 9mm 40 cal in the case of the 940, followed by the model. So the C would be compact, the SC would be subcompact. So if I say to you PF9SS, it's polymer frame, 9mm single
Single
stack,
stack. Yeah.
right? But you'd be understand that that's like so basic, but people don't know what that means. And it's like, okay, before if you're on your sixth gun and we haven't gotten to some of the basics yet, we need to kind of go back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Like what are these definitions meaning? And you know, anyway, you know, so PF 940 V2 is PF polymer frame 9mm 40 cal version 2 because the original was the V1,
The
right?
V1.
The
Yeah.
V1 was the original polymer frame. Understand that when they said 9mm 40 cal, some people came along the way and said, hey, this can do 357 SIG. And by the way, we can mix and match things. Oh, you want a 19X? You want the 19 upper and the 17 grip? Well, you don't need to make that and compete with Glock. All you have to do is take your PF 940C frame and add a mag extension. That's it.
Yeah.
Now you have a 19X. What you're better off doing is making a compact
CL.
long slide.
Yeah.
CL that can be both a compact long slide hybrid and it can also be a 17 by adding in that same exact extension.
Yeah. Or even throwing a 19 slide on a 26 frame and then putting a little dust cover, or 3D printing a little dust
Right.
cover, which you can learn
Absolutely.
to do that if you go to Freedom Crew University and take the
Yep.
free class from Benchy.
Yep.
Um, 3D print a little dust cover, right? Throw that under your frame, and you got a, an invert. You have a 26 size frame with a 19 size slide on it. Lone Wolf sells them too, but it's better. It's more satisfying to 3D print that shit.
Yeah. So we're never gonna stop building. You know,
Yeah,
I'm gonna be I'm gonna be building Glocks until the day I die.
yeah, facts.
You know, whether it's in teaching or just for fun. You
Yeah.
know, if I happen to come across a Glock 43 though slide from Strike Industries, that would motivate me to build a PF9 SS again.
Well, maybe I
You know,
could see if I can
apparently you got the
contact.
connections.
Dude, you know what? I hit him up when I had Danny from Strike Up when I saw he posted on Instagram, and then I sent him a message and I was like, "Hey, are the 43?" Because we've been talking about doing something together for a long time and just never actually did anything. And I was like, "Hey, are the 43 slides available and on your website?" He said, "Yep, they're there." And I was like, "All right, I'm gonna go buy one." And he was like, "Hold on, I owe you some stuff." So I'll send it to you and whatnot. So it
Yeah.
it was dope. And dude, honestly, like one quick shout out before we go. Um if you saw on the reel that I posted recently on Instagram, the most recent reel, some people gave me some shit for it. Like, you don't need that. Of course you don't need it. Like, my number one pin installer is a screwdriver sitting over there. I just tap my pins in with the screwdriver because it's polymer, it doesn't mar the pins or whatever. But dude, the AR takedown tool for installing pins, for installing sights, for anything you need to do, being able to grab this and not needing to use a punch and a hammer and just going thwack and then just whacking the pins in, whacking your AR pins out, hitting roll pins. So there's a slight recession there, and that recession is perfect for
Yeah.
roll pins. Dude, this thing is incredible. So if you guys do want to show some love, go to Instagram, go to AR Takedown Tool or the AR Takedown Tool, and just like their pictures and show some love and be like, I saw your tool on DLD After Dark, and
I saw you on tool.
I saw that tool.
I was watching DLT and I saw that tool.
I saw your private tool. Actually, you may even see other tools that very recently came out. They came out with smaller versions. And who's ever been building a PF940 SC and that tiny, tiny, tiny little pin that they got on the second locking block pin, or the only locking block pin? You don't want to install that thing with this, right? That's huge, right? So they came out with the itsy bitsy tiny little guy. It's already bent for me using it so much.
Yeah.
I've built a few SCs, but man, this thing, boop, you just boop it right in. It's a beautiful thing. So yeah, check them out, guys. It makes punching pins fun, and it's super easy. So that's my little thing. Oh,
And we
also
know that
TACMAS.
pins are the most important.
What's that?
Pins are the most important part of the build. Don't make me
Absolutely.
go pin crazy.
Oh, dude, we got Pinhead over here, man. It's pins are absolutely like the most important part. I mean, tabs are important too, but let's be honest. They could be ugly and you can still have a functioning firearm. But if all
Mhm.
your pins back out, if they're crooked and you got the old 72-pound trigger pull, and like
Yep.
all the shit can go wrong because your
Everything.
pin's not being clean. And
Everything.
hand tools are the trick to don't attack everything with a Dremel. Just take it slow, yeah, just you know what? If you want to learn more about how to get the best pinholes possible, then check out Freedom Crew University. If you want to learn how to creep on young girls, then what you want to do is follow our chief inspector of 13-year-old's hair.
So crazy she was smart enough to film that too, huh?
I know, right? And it's so funny that he was like, "All right, you got it? You got the picture?" She's like, "Oh, I got it. I got it." Yeah, and you can see
The look on her face, man, and the people in the background, just see them like, oh
my
god.
favorite was the Secret Service guys that were like
Yeah, I know he's like,
like they saw the big red button at the
here we go
bottom. He
again.
didn't. He didn't.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah. Lastly, thoughts on 40 Smith and Wesson?
you have a big fight going on here still between the two.
Yes. It'll
I'm
never stop.
personally, I think you asked me this last time, but I
Yeah.
personally go with 9 millimeter just because of the prepping stuff. 9 millimeter is more widely available
Yeah.
in that situation. Um, but they all put a hole, they all make you leak, and without medical attention, you'll die. So,
Yep.
and shot placement, of course, you could die instantly, not have any of the leak problems to worry about. So,
Very true.
um, yeah,
Oh my God,
yes, you
sport
got him.
brand. Very good. The Bidens are
Very
just
good. That
crazy
was a
about
good one.
sniffing. Oh man, that's gold, gold. All right, well, let's go ahead and wrap it up. First off, thank you so much for staying up, staying awake, staying
Thank you,
engaged.
man.
You're always a blast to have on, and thank you for everything you've contributed to the community because so many people are here today because of what you've done and what you've contributed, and it means a lot for real.
And we're just getting started.
Absolutely. This is
Just getting
just
started.
the beginning. And maybe one day we'll actually start to see some surplus Beretta M9 parts from military stuff.
So, uh, so that was my first gun.
I did not know that.
Yes, that was my first. So, all right. So we have our next episode stuff to talk about.
There we go.
Yeah,
That was a gun I dreamed about for a very long time that I didn't get until
my
I don't
first
know
one.
2-3 years ago. So
Mhm.
and one of the frames that was approved by the ATF but never put out by JSC Supply was an 80% Beretta frame.
Yeah, I heard.
Um,
So we'll have to see what he does now. But yeah,
yeah, yeah. Now
that would
that
be great.
oh, and actually, I meant to hit back on this. So the Engineer Beware had asked, "Are 80% frames going to go back to the way they were?" Yes, as a matter of fact, they already have because of the injunction that was granted to the plaintiffs. You can buy frames, jigs, bits and rails and all that shit all together again, and now you absolutely can. So, did Zastafa get nixed on imports to the U.S.? I don't know. I'll have to look into that. That's a good question. But thank you all you guys. Love all y'all. Anything else you want to hit on before I hit the rules and do the
That's
closure
it,
on
my
them?
friend. Thank you all staying up late with us. I know on the East Coast it's 1 o'clock in the morning. So you're on the
Yeah,
East Coast, you really put in time, but it's also midnight and 11
that's
across the
true.
country. So everybody's up late tonight.
Very
Thank you
true.
all. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. And everybody, as I always do, we got to hit the closing on the way out, which is rule number one is to be kind, right? It's so important that we're kind in everything that we do. That brief interaction that we have with somebody else could have a massive impact on their life. So just be kind. Don't be a dirtbag, right? Rule number two is to live a life of care, compassion, contribution, give to others. When you bless others, you become blessed. So a hand that's open to give is open to receive. Rule number three, because we know that the only way for us to defeat evil is with good men skilled in violence, make sure that you're becoming as highly skilled in violence as you possibly can be. And be safe, be dangerous, and keep that thing on you. And actually, speaking of this thing, uh, you guys know Tack Knives. Tack Knives has been an awesome friend of the channel. They've been coming out with some dope shit. They actually took their TK Pro line and they started a new website called TACCOM, TAKCOM. And all of their TK Pro knives are now over there, but it's all new shit. So if you go to my description, you'll find a link in there, and code DARK will save you 20%. So support them. They actually put out some really good shit. 154 CM, um, Microtech Dagger clone shit. Anyway, we're out of here. MGB, thank you so much. All you guys, all the viewers, putting in work, staying up late. I love y'all so much. If you drop a comment after this post, then you'll be entered in a giveaway at some point. I do them every now and then. So don't forget that. I love all y'all. Take it easy. Peace.